That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to There's a Lot Going On edition of the Always Irish Morning Radio Show. I don't know what to say anymore. Every day I do this program, and then I think, wow, that's kind of wild. Look at the news. Then the next day comes and the news gets even wilder. There's just a lot going on. It has been a little bit wild. And so you had the Buckner news in the morning. You had that news in the morning to digest that, ND and the SEC. And then you have the dig stuff that happens. And then it's so wild, you guys. It's so wild. You have the narrative with the Buckner stuff on social media and everything. You have that narrative going on. You're following that yesterday. And then the dig stuff hits, and then everything takes this big shift. And then the rest of the night turned into a different angle with that. And then you had the draft, and then everybody was mad about Mayer, so then you had that. It's layer on layer on layer of Notre Dame drama. It's why I created this show. Stuff like this, all these things where there's nuance and who's right and who's wrong, and are we on the right track or the wrong track or whatever, all of that. That's why this show exists. That's why this show exists, is to discuss all that. And so there's just a lot going on. I want to know from you guys on anything. 312-900-8815, whatever, on all this. But I got something I got to get through, and it's an important angle for me to get out, and then I'm going to open it up to you guys. But I'm open to hearing what you think about all of this: the Diggs move, the Buckner move, what's going on at Alabama. Are they free falling that they're coming to Notre Dame people, or what? Whatever it is, let me know. Obviously, you can find the problem and the program on YouTube. Everything's a problem these days. You can find it on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. You and I both know why. That way you're alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishandy@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you can locate me. You can find me, except on the call-in show, because I'm not dubbing over 2 hours. So that only applies to the shorter versions. Finding Irish Wire every day. Tune in. Check it out. There's a lot of news. So be there every day and see what we have going on there. So big news day yesterday, huh? Buckner, Diggs, the NFL draft. We got a lot going on. All right, we got a couple super chats. Get to this. Paul Conley with his daily $5 holler. Good morning, John the Great. On ND Day, Joe Theismann interviewed Logan Diggs, and he praised Notre Dame just to find out the next day he's leaving. Hey, maybe that's further evidence for people not to believe anything that comes out of the Notre Dame PR apparatus just on face value. I'm still surprised people fall for that just because it's Notre Dame. I think that's what it is. I've been having trouble with this whole Buckner-Hartman deal, trying to figure out what's going on. And that's one thing I realize is a lot of people just believe whatever comes out of the Notre Dame PR apparatus or whatever it is must be gospel. And because it's Notre Dame, they play no angles and games with the PR messaging. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you think that. And so I'm sure if Diggs knew he was leaving, he'd be like, do I really got to do this one more interview and act like I want to be here? He probably didn't want to do it. But I don't believe that stuff. Anything that comes out of these football factories, you got to ask, what's the angle? What might they be trying to set up here? That's how you got to look at it. Unbelievable. Oh, man. Thanks for the $5 holler. Appreciate it. Oh, man. Andrew Gilmore says Diggs is a tougher loss than Buckner in the short term. He was ND's all-purpose back, but maybe Price could do what Diggs did last year, make a miraculous recovery. Listen, running back was probably my number one most deep position group I felt great about. I still feel really good about it. just not quite as good as if we had him. I don't know what else to say, but I'm not looking at this and going, oh my God, Logan Diggs is gone. The team's collapsing. Who do we have to run the ball? Like, that's not happening. And we're going to get into some of the why and some of the thought process here. Yeah, you got Jeremiah Love still coming in. Wait and see that. Like, and then Wade says Diggs wants to be the starter and he gets to go home, play for the coach and recruit him. It's not an NIL thing. I mean, listen, there's a lot of good backs that all deserve and want carries. So it was going to have to get divided up somewhere, those carries. Maybe that's not good enough for everybody. Maybe somebody wants to go be the main guy. I don't know. Here's the other thing, too. And I'm going to say this right now. A lot of people are telling me, oh, these guys are leaving. I can't believe this. This never happened before. What's going like before in like past long-term history of Notre Dame? That wasn't the most. Why is that happening? Is everybody forgetting that the whole you could transfer and not sit out and play right away thing is going on? Everybody forget that? When you want to compare guys leaving to like a long time history, you got to understand they used to have to sit out to leave. You could leave if you didn't like it and then sit out a year and then go somewhere and play. This stuff wasn't an option to guys like it is now. You could debate whether that's good or bad or a larger representation of society where people don't want to wait their turn and pay their dues and want everything right away. We could have that bigger societal debate about me, now, not wanting to wait, put in your time and all that. We could have a bigger societal debate about if that's a part of all this and is that what's best for everybody involved. But the reality is, once that no sit out thing came, options were available to these guys that weren't before. And so you got to understand, like, this leaving wasn't such an easy decision years ago because there was consequences to it. You couldn't just jump ship, find a better landing spot, and off to the races. So that's a part of this you got to understand, is that's a new world option that these guys have now. So I don't know what to make of it. Pat, morning, always Irish family. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's well. Just trying to figure out a lot of this stuff. That's what we're doing here. Oh, man. Okay, we got super chats that came in. Let's hit them. Rudy. She's taking care of the kids at school. What a good mom. Jay Lehman, $20 holler. Here's to the quiet post transfer. Oh, my God, Jay, please make it be. I need a break, Jay Lehman. Here's to a quiet post-transfer portal spring, summer. We need it. I'm not going to lie. All the drama is good for my numbers, but I'd rather survive and not have my blood pressure through the roof every day. So can it please just settle down and we crank this baby up and come back in August ready to crack skulls? Jay, I'm with you. I pray for that. I want it to be quiet. $20 holler from Eric. I appreciate you very much. If ND plans to win a natty, it has to be year 2 this year, not year 3. Year 2 as a suburb-proven college quarterback in Hartman. In year 3, the QB room will digress too much with inexperience at the position. I definitely can understand why you're saying that. Here's what that would take for this to be in reality at all. What this would take is the offense takes a mega jump forward like we all hope it does, a mega jump forward. And then that defense is better than I thought it was going to be. My worries are unfounded about being light up front, getting ran on against the better team, whatever. The defense figures it out. Those replacement guys in the D line, they just fill in and they rotate and they all make plays. The linebackers blend together. They play better as a unit. Their rotation guys, young guys play right away. No drop off. Morrison on the back end gets all sorts of support, and he's not out on an island having to do everything, and it all goes great. We have good health. That's the path. But it's dependent to me on that offense taking a big jump, and then that defense has to be way better than I think it's going to be. Even if I say even if I think of what this defense looks like, if it's just okay, it has to be better than that to get to that level. And then you're having a larger picture discussion when you get to 24. That's where this gets tricky with Buckner leaving. If you have health for Artman next year, you can make this work. If you don't, we're screwed. But that's a different story. Okay, we're screwed if he gets hurt. But 24 is where that gets really interesting. I don't know where Angeli falls, and I'm not going to act like I know where Angeli falls. I haven't seen enough to know. But then in 24, you're open. Minchie develops into a dude with the year he has ahead of Carr. And then I guess you're praying Carr comes in there all beefed up, bulked up, ready to go, makes all the throws, hitch the wagons to that guy, and off to the races. We deal with freshman mistakes because we know there's a bright side at the end of the tunnel and all that. And that's what we do. Is that not the best outcome? With Buckner leaving, the best outcome to me is that either Minchie turns into a dude that's undeniable his second year, or Carr comes right in and he's undeniable. And he's got a body that could take it as a freshman being out there, makes all the throws, and we grow with that. Those are your options. I think Notre Dame wants to be done doing the transfer quarterback patchwork thing, and I don't blame them. I want to be done with it too. It's just, it's good if you need it, and it's good if you get a good guy like Hartman, but it's not Notre Dame's long-term path to elite success. I think it would just be nice if Notre Dame could have a homegrown, elite, good guy, and the young, skilled talent, they all grow together. That's a stable plan. But you need a guy talented enough you could hitch the wagon to and actually do it. Maybe Carr could be that guy. Maybe Minchie develops year 2. I don't know. So it's just tricky on tricky there. $20 holler, V1 rotate V2. Being a big picture guy, John should have known that getting Artman is so short-sighted, might be a Band-Aid for 1 year. Everyone just keeps saying 5-star card next. I wonder if a high recruit has ever left ND at the last second. Hey, I don't know. I think Carr might be. Here's one thing about Carr. I don't think his family needs the NIL money. So that's like the level we're at here. Where I'm thinking with Carr, I'm like, I know his family's got dough. They probably don't need the under-the-table pay-for-play. Maybe he'll want it anyways, but he doesn't need it. Oh, man. $10 holler. Appreciate it. At some point, I would like your thoughts on Dion in Colorado. They currently have listen, he's up to like 40. Isn't he up to like 40 transfers? And here's the deal. I'm going to say this. Call lines are filling up. We're going to get there. Here's the one thing I did not like. I thought this was dirty pool. And then Dion changed his tone on this. All these guys transferring out of Colorado wanted their film to be able to get out to other schools and coaches to be able to look at them to see if they're interested. And Colorado and Dion weren't letting that film be released from the school. So players were tweeting, I want to get out there and show what I could do, and they're blocking my film coming out. Dude, that's low rate. Prime, that's low rate. That's low rate. And then a few hours later, I saw, they changed that policy. Now they're going to let it happen. Dion's not for everybody. Here's my thought on this. He's not for everybody. He's going in there with a way different tone, something Colorado's never, ever had. It's going to be shocking and jarring to that sleepy little Colorado over there, okay? A lot of the guys on the roster, some of them are going to react to it. It's going to excite them. They're going to love his vibe and his shtick, the prime thing, buy into it. I could see a lot of guys where his style isn't going to work for them, especially if they're Colorado-minded, the way Colorado's always been and went there liking that. And now it has that totally different prime vibe. I get that isn't going to work for everybody. And some guys are like, this dude's way over the top. I see through all the rah-rah BS. Like, I could see guys that not working for. So then he's trying to flip that roster big time. The issue is when you're flipping 30, 40, 50 freaking guys or whatever, you got to worry about your culture. I mean, when you are that transient on your roster and you have that many waves of people coming and going, I think it's hard to kind of stabilize things and build a steady culture because there's just so many moving parts. And is everybody pulling from the same page? Who's just here for me, not Colorado overall? Like, that's the other issue when you do it that way is you better have a stable culture or that thing could get sideways on you. You're not even going to know. I am not joking. How in the hell does Prime even know who's on the team or not when you got 30, 40, 50 guys coming and going? I bet you he doesn't even know their names or recognize these guys. It's a totally different thing than recruiting these guys when they're 16 in high school, building a relationship and all that, and you know everything about them. Totally different way to do it. So a part of me thinks this Prime deal, there's not going to be any middle ground. A part of me thinks that after a few years, it's either really going to take off or it's churn and burn 50 guys a year and it never clicks and it's all words but no action and they're still bad. And then it burns down and Prime does something else. I don't know if there's an in-between on this one. It might be one extreme or the other. It might be. Oh, man. Let's see. We got a lot of thoughts today. Thanks for the donations. All right. We got phone calls. People want to talk. I'm going to go over one thing I need to get out. Well, the first thing is the Mayer thing. I want to ask this about Mayer falling in the draft. How much of that is the tight end position not having the analytic metrics that rank as high as some other positions in the world of analytics, as far down that track as we are in college and the NFL? How much of it is simply tight end doesn't have the cachet in those metrics to use this high a draft capital, blah, blah, blah. So that's one question I have is all those metrics, is tight end just, it's not that he's not good. It's that position isn't valued as much as all these other ones. So then you drop. That's one question I have. Another question I have is, sometimes I feel like there's some Notre Dame to this. There's a couple programs that like Notre Dame, a couple NFL teams that like Notre Dame guys and go for them. Sometimes I feel like it's like this nice guys finish last thing, the nice Notre Dame guy, and you're sitting there waiting. I don't know. All I know is it may not be the flashiest thing ever, but all you're going to get from him is reliability for 15 years, catching every ball thrown in his radius, and then not going down. And, oh, by the way, here's the other part you get with Mike Mayer. A grade A citizen and member of your community that's going to end up doing a bunch of charity work and all of this good-hearted stuff just because he's a good Notre Dame guy. Like, there's no risk and all upside to Michael Mayer. So whoever the hell gets him should throw their own party that they're getting that extra bonus, because it's no risk, all upside. I just think the tight end thing maybe just doesn't have the cachet. I don't know. Even if it's like speed, there's still use for a tight end where you throw it to him and he's going to catch it and run people over. Like, if you want to go with the speed thing, fine. There's still room for a tight end with his skill set. I don't know enough about the draft to know where it should be. I don't know that. And what everybody else needs and all that, I don't know. But it's hard to watch your guy sitting on the couch and all the picks go by and it gets kind of awkward. It's just kind of rough. But it'll land somewhere and they're going to be lucky to have him. All right. Here's what I really need to get into. Then we're going to get to the phone calls. So like I said, times like this are why I love having a show like this, to be able to gauge everybody's different thoughts. There's so many big picture things going on that affect Notre Dame. So I want to know what you think of the Tyler Buchner stuff. I want to know if you think he has a real chance of starting. I just find this the wildest sequence of events. And also I want to know what you think about Diggs. And here's my point of the day. There are really two tracks going on here at the same time. One is what is happening and reacting to it in real time, like the Buchner news, the Diggs news, whatever. What's actually happening? The second part of it, though, is, I think, way more interesting. What does all this signify? That's a much more interesting question than what's happening and does it make you mad or happy. What does it signify big picture? Okay, and since the Diggs news, I've received a ton of emails, direct messages from people telling me what the hell is going on. Freeman's letting things fall apart. He's losing control. All this stuff. What is going on? Nobody wants to be here. We're losing our guys. Freeman, this is falling apart at the seams. I got a bunch of those messages. I want to address that. Here's number one. None of us were satisfied with the way Kelly did things. Okay? None of us were. It didn't get us over the ultimate hump. It did pretty good, but then ultimately we all wanted more than we were getting. Now this guy comes in here and things look and feel very differently. All I ask is that you maybe be open to the idea that that might be a good thing. That this uncertainty and the uncomfortable feelings now may just be a part of the process. It might just be a part of the process. Okay? Some of this is going to be natural when you have an overlapping of two regimes and some players that came from the first regime and were those guys primarily. And then you have some newer guys come in and a new coach with a slightly different vision and all that. You're going to get some of this. I know we don't like it. You're going to get some of this when you do that. Some of that is natural. Okay. And additionally, I have this question. How come these other teams can flip 30 or 40 guys in an offseason and nobody bats an eye? Notre Dame loses 3 or 4 guys and I get told the whole world's on fire and the Golden Dome's burned to the ground. Why is that? All these other schools got 20, 30 people coming and going. We have 3 guys leaving. The world's coming to an end. How special do you think Notre Dame is that we're not going to have guys want to go start, not be ride the bench? I just don't get some of these double standards. These other places got 30 guys coming and going, and everybody calls it business as usual in the modern age. We got 3 to 4 guys leaving and the whole world's ended. The whole world's ended. I just don't see it that way. And here's the other thing. This is where this is going. One thing leads to another. Remember that song? Here we go. Jesus. Here we go. We get 3 to 4 guys that leave. And I get messages all night telling me the Golden Dome's burning and Freeman's losing control of the program. One is, again, the no sit-out thing is a big deal. People forgetting that. You could just leave now. That wasn't a thing 20 years ago. That's why it feels new to you, because it is. Here's the next thing this is going to lead to. When I say, oh, we lose 3 to 4 guys, quit acting like the world's ended, the next thing I'm going to hear is, oh, John, but these guys were highly recruited guys. They were high-profile guys. That's why I'm upset. Really, they are. High-profile guys, a backup quarterback that's often injured, a wide receiver that was a head case all last year and couldn't catch the ball when we needed anybody to emerge in that group, a running back that possibly sees diminished carries next year because the whole group is great, and a backup linebacker. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't see this as the end of the world. If I thought it was, I'd say it. Have I ever held anything back from you guys, how I really feel? Like, everybody knows I love Marcus, but I'm still going to say what it needs to be said with what I feel. The number one critique I have of Marcus right now is he's got to figure out a way to land those elite recruits we lost at the top of the class last year. That's my biggest issue with Freeman now is he has got to figure that out, how to land some of those top-end guys. Bowen, Keeley, Dante Moore, all of this is different. Notre Dame's in the playoff if you have those guys. Your safety problem would be fixed. I'd feel a lot better about the D-line with Keeley there and quarterback. We wouldn't have any of these issues. So that's my biggest criticism of Marcus. He has got to figure out a way to land some of those guys, or this is going to be an uphill battle. So it's not his fault. People are throwing NIL at our guys or whatever. But he's got to figure out a way to close. That's my number one criticism of Marcus. But it's not for lack of work effort like Swamp Thing. Least I respect Marcus because he tries. Kelly checked out, didn't even try. So he's already ahead in my book. So that's why I don't see it as the end of the world. I just feel like a lot of Notre Dame fans are looking for the next negative thing to jump on. I don't know. But it's the twilight zone for me because I was the glass half empty guy all through Kelly. And now all I do is get accused of being the glass half full guy who never criticizes Marcus. Telling you, it's a big difference when I know the guy wants to work and is actually putting in effort. My entire outlook on you is going to be different. Okay. But what I'm saying is, please be open to the idea that Marcus has a different vision for building this than Kelly. And I'm glad because Kelly's vision didn't work. How do I get people to get that? It seems like a lot of you wanted to look like Kelly, but you weren't happy with Kelly's results. So maybe let this guy do something different and give it a chance for a few years. We all weren't happy with the Kelly way. Now people want the Kelly way. It's illogical. His way wasn't good enough for us. This guy's doing things different. Now you don't like that either. What do you like then? What do you like then? So, yes, this is uncomfortable. Change often is. But look at the big picture, man. Quarterback. Okay, Hartman, Carr, Minchie. I love that. Linebackers really recruited well, and they got some guys to play with. I think that's going to be okay. Running back, deepest group on the team with guys ready to emerge, and I trust them all to do good things. Wide receiver, the guy left already got passed up by an 18-year-old who's been in college 3 weeks. Everybody blames me for being over dramatic. You guys are being over dramatic on this one. You want me to cry over Styles, who knew he already got passed up by freshmen, and you want me to cry that that's a negative? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. That's a damn positive. It's a positive. It's not a negative. Some of you need to think about it this way. You ever think that maybe some of the guys we thought were really good here, Freeman sees guys younger than them that are already better? Anybody ever rack that in your brains? Or 3 guys are leaving, so burn it all down. Freeman's lost control. It might be just the opposite. Maybe this is Freeman asserting his control, making this his vision, not Kelly's vision. Let the man cook. Let him cook. You wanted something different. We wanted Kelly gone. Now you got it. Let this guy work. Let him work. Let him work. That's all I'm saying. Let him work. All right. We're going to calm it down. We're going to take a deep breath. And yeah, I saw that Feinbaum. Unbelievable. Feinbaum, you ever see that? Unbelievable. Yesterday. Hey, Paul, how in the hell are they letting these leprechauns come down here and take over this team? Get these leprechauns out of here. Unbelievable. All right. I'm done yelling, and I said what I had to say. I'm giving it to you now. Some of this stuff gets to me. 20 emails. Freeman's lost control. Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Pat, what's going on?
I got nothing to say.
I'm sorry, Pat. I'm sorry. But this is how I see it. Nobody liked the old way. Now everybody's mad. We're doing it different. You can't win here.
Did you see my comment? I said, John, you might as well wrap the show after that rant. There's literally nothing else that could be said.
Yeah, you might as well wrap my body in a casket while we're doing it. What do you make of Buckner? What do you make of Buckner? Is he going to start? What the hell's going on in Alabama? What is going on there?
That makes no sense to me at all. It just, from Alabama perspective, I mean, I understand. It makes perfect sense for Buckner. You're going to a coach, you're You're going to one of the best programs in the country. Yeah, hell yeah. If I'm Buckner, I'm like, they want me to go to Alabama. They didn't want me to go to Alabama when I was committing to Notre Dame, but they want me to go now. Hell yeah, I'll go.
Okay, but only if you're going to start, right? Because why go back down there and be a backup? Why?
Yeah,
why would you do that?
But I guarantee you this: if he goes into practice and he looks like he did in the spring game, I can't see Nick Saban saying, "Tommy, put him on the field." I could see Nick Saban pulling Tommy aside and saying, "Why the hell did you bring this schmuck here?" Saban. I don't think Saban. He's like Ben Shapiro. He doesn't care about your feelings.
Or Pat, Pat, here's the other thing: is some of this that he's just so frustrated at Notre Dame going into the arms of a guy that he knows and trusts like Tommy? Is it a deal where no matter what happens, he's just glad to be out of here because of the frustrations? Like, could that be a part of it?
I don't think so. I think he.
Well, then he must think he's going to play. He must think he's starting for freaking Bama next year. Then
why would you go there? He has a better chance of playing at Notre Dame next year than he has, I think, in Alabama this year. To be honest, but he has to think he's going to play. So he wouldn't go if he didn't think he was going to play. He probably will play. I just don't think it'll go well.
How does that go?
I don't think that guy has it.
How does that go?
I just don't think he has it.
But the other thing, Pat, is even if he has it, I could see Buckner keeping the ball running around the edge and just dying every week. Like those SEC defenses are big and fast. I just worry about the guy. Holy crap!
I mean, who knows? Maybe there's something that we just couldn't see because of the lack of talent at Notre Dame. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that could be. And you know what else, Pat? The risk here. There's a lot of risk. Saban is kind of putting some himself out here a little bit with this. Tying himself to Notre Dame this much. Is Saban putting himself kind of out there? And then it's going to be a reflection on Saban and Tommy and then Buckner. Like, this is all connected in a weird way. Is it not?
That is what is. Yeah, so that was my point from the beginning. I didn't think this was worth it for Saban, even if he really felt that Buckner is is a guy for him to bring in. If this doesn't work, he's going to get killed. I know he's playing with house money. He's been playing with house money since he showed up at Alabama. But man, oh man, he is putting himself to scrutiny that he probably never thought was possible, because it's going to be two moves in a row, all related to the offensive coordinator, and it's just, man. Ooh, it blows my mind that a guy that smart would do something.
Yeah, and the problem is, here's the downside. It's like, I love the idea that these Notre Dame guys would leave us and it won't look well there, and then it makes all the Alabama people mad. The problem is, if Alabama dips down, it helps Swamp Thing, and I don't want that either.
Yeah. I agree to that. Here's at the end of the day, I want Buckner to do good. I hope Buckner does start. I hope Buckner plays well. And maybe it was just an environment thing. There was something in Notre Dame that you see he couldn't. He needed that. He needed a fresh start.
Yeah, too many staircases.
I want Tommy to do well there. I don't understand Notre Dame fans that want these guys to fail or hope these guys fail. They're Notre Dame guys. I don't care if they're at Alabama. I want them to do well. I want them to do well until they have to play us. That's it. I just want them to do well. I think that imagine this. Okay, if you're a Notre Dame fan and your backup quarterback has to transfer to Alabama because he can't get on the field, and then he goes to Alabama and he plays well, what does it say about your program?
Yeah.
Come on. Seriously. So this is a good thing for Notre Dame if Buckner does well in the end, because I still think Notre Dame has the better quarterback.
Yeah. All right. Let's move this forward a little bit. Now Notre Dame's in a position for next year where you simply can't afford for Hartman to get hurt, or you're in big trouble, in my opinion. Let's say we navigate that, and by some miracle he stays upright. Where it really gets interesting is the 2024 quarterback dynamic. What that competition is going to look like is much different now without Buckner a part of it. You would be looking at Angeli. a relative unknown. Like, I still don't know enough about him to have an opinion. I don't know whether that should give me that might give me an opinion, but maybe that gives me an opinion that I don't hear enough that I have an opinion. Maybe that's informative too. So you're going to have him. Yeah. Then you're going to have Minchie coming off the year he's ahead, which will probably be a red shirt unless he has to play next year more than 4 games. He would have that year on Carr. Then Carr would be coming in off the street as a real straight up freshman. What's the best dynamic there? Is it that you pray Carr's so good you got to hitch the wagon to him and go through the learning pains, roll it out? Or does Minchie get the call that year and then those two compete it out the next year when Carr's been around longer? How do you think this will set up, and which ending helps us the most?
Yeah. So again, I go back to that comment I saw on Wednesday where somebody blamed the bringing in Jack Cohn for all of this.
Mark with glasses. Mark with glasses. You're 100% correct. I can verify that. Pat, look at the screen.
What's that?
Verified, Mark. Oh, yeah. Mark, I can verify that, by the way. Yeah, that's 20 years of evidence, Mark. You're right on that one.
I like how he thinks he's burning me, but he's just
Yeah.
He's just kind of telling me.
Yeah, exactly. Good call. You know what it was? He saw you. He saw you guys talking about Rudy at the tailgate. So then I think the word was out after that. No more yoga pants, Rudy. Cover up. Cover up.
So to go back to the question, I do think whoever made that comment on Wednesday was onto something. When you bring a quarterback in from the outside, especially when you have a guy that has 1 year of eligibility, you can't get any sort of foundation under that guy.
Yeah.
And you just kind of start a cycle of, all right, that guy's gone. The problem then persists.
Yeah.
Of who's your guy.
Yes.
And then the same thing's going to happen now. Hartman comes in. He's only here for a year. The problem is going to persist till next year. I don't think you fix this problem by, again, going outside the program. Because what happened? You bring in Hartman. You lost Pine and Buckner. You lost 2 guys. Now, if some people saying addition by subtraction, you might absolutely.
But Pat, wait, Pat, how different would this have all been if the Cone year, instead of doing that, they said, we're going to hitch it to Buckner. No, it's going to be maybe rough, but get that development going. Is that where this maybe took a turn that sent Buckner down this path? Or was that the right move? Or was that the right move?
Buckner was a freshman, but Buckner was a freshman then, right?
Yeah, well.
That was Buckner's freshman year. So I think it made sense why you wanted to do that. You weren't sold on Pine. Now we understand why.
Yeah.
And Buckner was a freshman. So yeah, it made sense why you wanted to bring that guy in. It made sense why you want to bring Hartman in. But again, you're just persisting the existing problem. You don't have a stable quarterback room.
Yeah.
And so at some point, unless you're going to get a guy to come in and that's got 2 years of eligibility and is that talent. But even when you do that, what are you going to do? You're going to lose Angeli. You're going to put Minchie at risk. The Carr's probably still safe, but you're going to set your room back. And so at some point, the coaching staff has to knuckle down and say, this is our quarterback room. We're going to keep it this way. And we're going to get a guy to come in here every year. And we're going to build this room from the inside.
But see, the issue is
they just have to do that at some point.
Here's the issue. I've been saying for years, Notre Dame's most stable path to build things the way Notre Dame has to compete, which is different than the way other teams could be constructed through the portal and everything else. You got to hitch your wagon to a young guy at some point with very high upside that could physically at least hang in there when he's young. And they learned it. Then he learns on the job, bonds with all the young skill talent. And in a couple years, you got everything cooking. The issue is Notre Dame has not been able to have that quarterback that's even able to come in and go that route because they haven't recruited guys good enough that they could do that.
Right. That's kind of the point of why Cone was necessary to begin with.
Yeah.
They had no bodies. They had a sophomore in Pine who they didn't like, and a freshman in Buckner who was untested and coming off an injury. There was no you had no choice. The terrible recruiting of the previous coaching staff put you into this situation where you keep having to band. It's like the safety position.
Yeah.
You never recruited a good safety, and then you had been putting Band-Aid after Band-Aid on the safety position over the years, and now you're finally starting to put depth in there.
Yeah, and the problem is, man, it's so frustrating.
So many holes that take so much time to fill. You can't fix these things
But
overnight.
look at safety. But Pat, look at safety.
It doesn't work.
Look at safety. Oh, I'm worried about safety. Yeah. If you had Hillman and then Bowen starting right away, I'm no longer worried about safety. Like, we were that close to me not having that worry. We were that close to me not having that worry. And then you have Morrison as your dude there, and then you have Bowen ranging around. Like, we were that close to that, and that's very frustrating with that position. So what do you think happens then in 24? How would that play out in your mind?
I think it's well, I truly, unless Carr might come in early. I would assume Carr's coming early. So I think you got a 3-man race. I'm not gonna count Ngelly out. And you have a 3-man race, and
oh my God,
the best guy wins.
I'm gonna have a stroke. This might be the last show.
I saw it. Hold on.
No, I'm gonna have a stroke. I'm gonna have a stroke.
Don't do it.
Seriously.
Let me do it. Because I hope Big Dustin here missed your rant, because
dude, I don't know how many I got in me.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know how many I got in me.
Let's talk about the things let's talk about what he's destroyed. How many years did we have Brian Van Gorder's son as a backup quarterback on scholarship? Did Brian Kelly not give Ron Powell III a scholarship to Notre Dame to play quarterback? He never even practiced once last year. They gray shirted him. Seriously, what is wrong with these people? Like, I have to think this is a troll, someone who knows.
Freeman, no, it's like, wait a second. Freeman destroyed what Kelly took so long to build. I guess that means we're no longer going to win all these postseason games that matter, right? Because, if Freeman is destroying what it took Kelly so long to build, I am
for it.
Yeah, exactly.
100%
good. Yep.
Tear down everything that asshole did.
Yeah.
Because he is the reason we're in this situation.
Yeah. It's God, man. This might be it, man. This is pushing me to the brink. All the DMs I opened, the program's burning down, John. The program's falling apart. The only thing falling apart are my medical records.
I am so mad that Freeman is tearing down the program.
I know.
I
know.
The national audiences
every
year got blown out in playoff games.
Pat,
got blown out in Miami.
Pat,
the turnover chain.
No more Camping Bowl trophies for you, Pat. Okay? No more. None of those Camping World trophy. Oh, Russell Athletic. No more of that for you, Pat.
5 important players.
No.
Help us win in the Natty. Okay, the backup quarterback. We just went through this. The backup quarterback is gone.
Yeah.
The running back was diminishing playing time. The wide receiver who couldn't catch.
Yes.
The undersized linebacker who couldn't make it on the field.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Losing all these guys.
There you go. No. That's you know what this is?
He wasn't even the feature.
This is people who just look at the star ranking and know the guy was a 4-star, and then they're telling themselves that means that they got to be good when they're not looking at what's actually going on in the team. They're just looking at this guy was a 4-star, whatever. You're not looking at what's going on in the team. I'm not crying about a wide receiver leaving who a true freshman just overtook and who couldn't catch balls last year. I'm not upset. I'm not upset about it.
He probably thinks that we shouldn't have gotten Hartman because he was a lowly rated quarterback at Wake Forest.
I almost broke my headset.
Never mind the 5 years body of work he has played.
Son of a. God, this one's getting off the track. I'm telling you what. But these people, I try and not let it get to me, but it can only be for so long. And Mount John's going to erupt. Jesus. Tell us, John, what's going on in the program? Some things got to change. There's a lot of calibration going on right now between the old and the new. Some of it's going to be uncomfortable. Some of it's going to look rough. But you got to let the guy work.
Hey, Cousin Luke or Newt Rockney or Big Dustin. Hey, how many national championships did Brian Kelly win at Notre Dame?
Oh, but we lost to Marshall, so that proves that Freeman's terrible at his job. That's what they're going to say. Yeah, that's what they're going to say.
Brian Kelly lost, and Brian Kelly right now. Marcus Freeman hasn't had a losing season in Notre Dame. Brian Kelly did.
God, whatever, man. All right,
Come on,
anything else?
tell me how many national champions? How many let's back up. How many playoff games did he win at Notre Dame?
Yeah, I know, but everybody liked being reliable, being decent, then getting your head kicked in. I don't know.
Hand jobs, John.
Whatever.
That's why every single last one of these guys, they're hand jobs. They are nothing more than sitting in their daddy's car hoping some girl's going to jerk them off. That's all they frickin' are.
I mean, you could have went a million different ways with the reference, but that's an interesting angle to go down. All right, Pat, anything else? I got a bunch of calls. I wanted to give you time, but
I know I'm going to jump. I think, you know what, Michael Mayer, I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah.
I texted you about it last night. That guy, I just don't like. Andrew Gilmore, he's making a good point. He was oversized last year, so that probably did hurt him. But he wowed it. I thought he did great at the combine. I thought all his numbers came back real good. This guy, since he showed up in Notre Dame, has been dumped on. He's been dumped on when it came to the Mackey Award, twice. He didn't even get on the watch list the one year, and then he doesn't get it the next year. And now in the draft. And all he has ever done is worked his ass off and performed, and he's given Notre Dame everything it's ever needed. And I wanted him to go in the first round because he earned it and he deserved it. And this clown has no clue how to run a program. I'm sorry, I didn't see you as the head coach of Notre Dame, but he has earned it and he has deserved it. And I just feel bad for him because of that. But at the end of the day, I know. He's gonna go today. He's gonna go tonight, and he's gonna do great in the NFL. And so, good for him. Good luck to him.
Yep, that's well said, Pat. All right, thank you, my friend. I'm gonna go take my blood pressure medicine. Thank you.
Yeah, have fun.
Appreciate it.
Fun with this
Jesus, my
we got
God. Sorry, I cut you off. Big Dustin. I'm a diehard Indy fan. Big Dustin. That's what I picture. When I see a guy named Big Dustin, I just picture Big Dustin. What's your name? I'm Big Dustin. I'm a diehard Indy fan. I want to see a natty, but Freeman is not the guy. Never will win at ND. You can't win natties losing players. What are you talking about? The running room, the RB room just went from top 5 to top 40. I totally disagree. I just disagree. You can't win natties losing players. Every single team in the whole country, all of them, every team in all country has guys coming and going and leaving and coming. Everybody. This is not a unique Notre Dame issue. It's not a Notre Dame problem. It's going on all over. Why is it that once it happens here, it's a big deal? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. If it was guys that were starters and elite, I'm upset. That's it. If it was players that were elite, I'd be upset. If it was players that were starters, front line, couldn't deal without, then I'm upset. None of these are that. Styles is the best example of this. I love that. People crying about that, not realizing what it signifies. Styles is the perfect way for me to disprove this argument. People are stuck with what Styles was as a recruit and all that, and they're going, how could this guy lead? It's because the younger guys are already better than him. That is a positive. He knows he got passed up by a true freshman. That's progress, not regression. Five, 6, 7. Good morning.
Good morning, John. How you doing, buddy?
Little worked up, but I'm okay.
I think we're all a little worked up. This is quite the crazy few days us Notre Dame fans have had. Just
one thing after the next. One thing after the next. And every time I open the internet, it gets more crazy than it was an hour before. Let's cover a couple things. Number one is, what do you make of the Tyler Buchner decision and where that leaves Notre Dame moving forward?
First of all, I just want to let you know my screen name is Domer Guy 88.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you for that. Always helps to be able to connect.
Yeah, no problem. And then Tyler Buckner leaving. I'll tell you, I think it was all in the back of our heads. Like, we knew we wanted him to be the backup. We all knew that it was going to be Hartman. Most of us knew that, and we all wanted Tyler there because he was an insurance policy for Hartman. So
Yep.
What happened last year wouldn't happen.
Yep.
This coming season.
Yep. Exactly.
Like you said on your previous shows throughout the week, though, I mean, we can't have it all. So I think we all expected Buckner to leave, especially after the performances by the two quarterbacks.
I think the big decision was, the big thing was right when there was smoke about Hartman being even interested in Notre Dame, there were already national articles about what is that may mean for Buckner, right? So this was on the table right away. And then the discussion was just, maybe he's a guy who's just so Notre Dame-y and loves Notre Dame so much, has a sister there that plays sports at Notre Dame. Maybe he's just truly a Notre Dame guy no matter what, and he'll be around for that. And it turned out that wasn't the case. I don't blame him. He's had nothing but bad luck, bad injury, bad timing. I do not have ill will for him at all. I don't.
I don't either, and I'm going to root for the guy no matter where he goes. And it's such an intriguing landing spot for him.
Is he going to start? Follow. Is he going to start?
I follow
what
the whole
the
landscape
hell?
of college football when I watch. I will follow Alabama this year, and I am rooting for him, and I hope he puts 50 on Swamp Thing. I really do. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. I don't understand why they would bring him in. The only logical thing that I can think of is obviously Reese in that tie, but does Reese really have Saban wrapped around his finger like that to where he can talk him into bringing in Tyler Buckner?
I don't
know.
Think
so.
I don't, or is it like are they panicking that bad because they didn't like what they saw in their spring game from those young quarterbacks that like they're in panic mode? I don't know, because I knew nobody was happy with the way their quarterbacks played in those games. But
but John, I think that's why Nick Saban brought in Tommy Reese, because I think what Nick Saban does well every year, he rotates his coordinators, right? I mean, what is every 2 years, every 2 or 3 years, 3 years at most. So I think what he does well when he picks his OCs is he knows his team's strength going into that next season. And I think Tommy wasn't his first choice, by the way. I think his first choice was the guy out at Washington. I think that was his first choice. He turned him down.
Well, we went from
so I think when we
went from not even his first choice, maybe not even his second. Saban hires him as his third choice, and then the quarterback's coming too. Like, who's in charge here, Saban or Reese? The hell is going on down there?
This has got to be Reese influenced. Reese has to have an influence on bringing Tyler Buckner in. I don't know if he's going to start, but with all that being said, what I was saying about Saban and knowing his team's strength the next season, I think Nick Saban knows that the strength of his team is going to be the running game. And I think they're going to pound it next year, and I think they can pound it. I think they always run the ball well.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to run the football this year, and he knows that Tommy Reese likes to do that, and he knows that Tommy Reese does that well.
Yeah, it's just so.
For them to bring
wild.
in Tyler Buckner, I don't think it matters who plays quarterback with them, because their team's strength is going to be to run the football, and I think they're going to do that well. So I don't necessarily think that they're going to have excellent, superb quarterback play this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, for that reason, it makes less sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me, because I don't know. It makes no sense to me to bring in Tyler Buckner.
And then let me ask this question. If he goes there and he ends up winning the job and starting, then this all makes a lot more sense to me. Whether it goes good or bad is a different discussion. But if he starts, this makes all the damn sense in the world to me. But what's interesting,
and are we going to find out a lot about Notre Dame, in particular their scouting? Because maybe Notre Dame, we can't find a quarterback, and we know that, and we haven't been able to find a quarterback for years. And maybe we get quarterbacks, and we just can't. And I'm saying maybe, this is a big maybe and a big if.
Yeah.
But maybe we just can't coach them up at Notre Dame. I mean, we're gonna find something out. It's gonna go one way or the other, ain't it?
Yeah. That's for sure. But answer this question. What happens if he goes to Alabama and he doesn't start? That leaves me feeling even more confused, because then I'm like, that just tells me you were ready to get the hell out of Notre Dame then. Because you're not even starting and you weren't going to start here. And presumably that's why you left here, is to go start. If you're not going to start, then it tells me he was just frustrated and done with us. Get out of the shadow of the dome, going out with Tommy Boy and BK or whatever in the South and whatever. But it's weird. I don't know.
That goes into a whole nother can of worms, because, I mean, if he's going there to be the backup at Alabama, he obviously would rather be the backup at Alabama than Notre Dame.
Yeah, so that's my point. That tells you there's something going on.
Does that tell you that he wants to I mean, South Bend isn't a very attractive place for an 18-year-old,
Hey, or a 38-year-old, or a 38-year-old there for the blue and gold game. Trust me, it wasn't that attractive to me either. The sun, the rain, the sleet, the hail, the snow. We got it all, baby.
But that's a whole different avenue that we have to
I know
Like,
but there's a mentality. Listen, there's a mentality of the guys that are open to playing in Notre Dame. If you want the Hollywood lifestyle, and then you're not coming to Notre Dame, like, there is a mentality of you have to be serious about your mission coming here. It isn't Yaha time. Like, there is some of that. Like, you have to be open-minded to the Notre Dameness of even going there. That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
But are 18-year-olds mature enough to make that decision, the 4 for 40 decision? I think the majority of the top talented players, they're not. They just want to go to a nice place with palm trees for 3 years and then go to the NFL. Yeah.
And you know what? The ones that are, it really helps the parents, the family, that looking at the big picture, all of that. So I don't know, man. It's just wild. And then
on top of NIL.
Yeah.
On top of NIL now.
Yeah.
Everything is working against Notre Dame.
All right.
Absolutely everything.
Yeah. That's a different discussion, but it's on my list of things to record about. I have something coming out on that exact topic. Now's not the time, though, but I'm glad you brought that up. Let's move this forward. Let me ask you this. These guys leaving the program, Diggs, whatever, Styles, is the world coming to an end? Is it all burning down, or is this just a part of the transition in the vision that Freeman has that differs from the way Kelly built things? What's the reality here, man?
The sky's not falling. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. Okay, so let me start with Styles. He was the first one that left, right? When I heard Styles was leaving, I was searching Collie at that point, so I was surprised it was Styles. But then I started to think, they started talking about him moving over to DB, and he couldn't catch a pass last year, and I was like, okay, the sky isn't falling. And then we hear about Collie. And that's the one that hurt me the most right away, because I'm a big Collie fan. I think he should have been playing before then. Yeah, go ask mommy. And sorry, I got my son asking me to play with kinetic sand. So Collie was the one that bothered me the most, because I think that he had so much potential until I seen Diggs go out. I expected Buckner. I expected it. Okay, so Collie and Diggs bother me the most, and Styles even bothers me a little bit, because not from the wide receiver perspective, but he's came out and said since he entered the transfer portal that he's entering the transfer portal as a DB prospect. So, and I've heard he's taking a visit to Ohio State. I don't know if he's going to go to Ohio State.
Well, there's a good connection there. About that there's a good connection there.
Why would he go to Ohio? I understand that he hasn't done nothing at Notre Dame. I get that, but I think he does have potential. And I think he is a good player. So if he's going to go somewhere else and play DB, why couldn't he stick around and try it at Notre Dame? I think he'd have a better shot of seeing the field at DB at Notre Dame than he would Ohio State.
Yeah. So, but all right, there's a couple things that could mean. One is we all have to be open, and I need to do a better job of realizing I don't have all the information. So when I get on here and have partial information of stories that go on with Notre Dame, then the only thing I could do is piece together what's the most logical conclusion of how we got there or what happened. Similar with the offensive coordinator hire. We didn't have all the information. I'm all inferencing off what I do have. It could only be one of these few things of how we got here. Maybe there's more going on behind the scenes personally that we're never going to know about with all these guys. I'm sure that's true. There's a lot we don't know. But the other thing is, man,
it is. We love it though, and we love to do this as much as we won't admit it, but we love doing it.
Here's what I don't get, man. You got to answer this for me. All these other teams have guys coming and going all the time. Nobody bats an eye. It's business as usual. But when Notre Dame does it, it always gets magnified. Is it just because Notre Dame's so different and we want all our guys to graduate and that degree is such a big deal? I'm struggling with trying to figure out why. It's the end of the world when it happens here.
What do you mean it's magnified?
I mean that if 3 or 4 guys leave somewhere else, it's like, oh, that's business as usual, modern college football, keep it moving. But when it happens to Notre Dame, the messages are
magnified on a national level or just
mostly locally. Not just my chat, but like Notre Dame media. My Twitter is melting down with direct messages of people saying, what the hell's going on?
Like
Freeman's losing control.
I don't think anybody likes to lose talent. So I think Ohio State, whenever they lose a player, I've been Googling other teams just to see the attrition. And it's natural, especially in the portal and NIL era. It's going to happen. When you open up these 2-week windows in the spring to go weigh your odds somewhere else, players are going to leave. Ohio State's losing players. LSU's losing players. Alabama's losing players. It's happening everywhere. So I think nobody wants to lose their players. And everybody thinks that these players that they're losing were promising prospects coming out of high school. But you're right when you say high school is not college. When they come into college, they're no longer the star that they were in high school.
Yeah.
You are what you put on the field. In Styles, as a wide receiver, was not a 4-star, 5-star prospect.
No.
Neither was Collie. Neither was Buckner.
Listen, Styles is the one I really have no sympathy for because he had every opportunity in the world last year to like claim a spot and be a key cog in anything that we could get done last year. And he struggled all year. So it's not like with him, he could say, I wasn't getting opportunities. I'm out of here. That's the thing that's getting me with him. He had every opportunity to emerge. And everybody going into last year was saying, this is the year he could take a next step and become the one. He became no one. What do you mean?
Buckner and Styles had all the opportunity in the world. I have no problem with them transferring. I understand. I don't understand why Styles transferred, but I understand why Buckner transferred. I have no problem with Styles transferring. Now, Collie and Diggs, especially Diggs, when you start getting into Notre Dame starters leaving, and your previous caller, Pat, I like the guy. He's a heck of a nice guy, and he makes a lot of good points. But when he says that Diggs wasn't the feature back, I know that him and Estime split carries last year.
Yeah. But
he was actually the feature back. He had more carries than Estime. So our feature back just left to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, but what are you saying? You can't just feed Estime and feel great about that? I would almost rather, quite frankly, feed Estime and get him lathered up. Use the other guys as the mix-up.
So
I have no issue
Diggs
with that.
Or not have Diggs, John?
Oh, I would rather have them. But there is the gulf here between me going, this sucks. I would rather have him on the team. We're going from there, which is what I feel, that it sucks and I'd rather have him here than not, all the way to the extreme of Freeman's lost control of the program and it's all burning to the ground. Like, that's a big extreme to go from one to the other. I want him here for the depth, and I love what he did too. But I'm not saying Freeman doesn't know what he's doing because of it. That's a big jump.
I don't think it has anything to do with Freeman. I think it has everything to do with Diggs and whoever. I think somebody contacted Diggs, or Diggs reached out to somebody. I think all these kids have an agent, right? So they're allowed to hire an agent. So their agent got a hold of somebody. Somebody got a hold of his agent, and LSU or whoever it is contacted him. And I think he's getting NIL money for it. I don't think it has anything to do with Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman didn't do anything wrong. But how do we fix that? Because that is a problem. If that happened, answer me this, John. If NIL is a part of Diggs leaving, which I think we all have to know that it is, why else would he leave?
I don't know that it is. I don't know that it is or not.
That's going to do nothing but help his NFL shelf life. That's good. His situation at Notre Dame, tell me how that was going to hurt his NFL career.
Yeah.
Does anybody run the football as much as Notre Dame? Probably not. Most teams don't run the football as much as Notre Dame. They split carries last year with like 160 carries each or something like that. I think Diggs had 10 more carries or something.
Yeah.
So how does his situation at Notre Dame hurt him?
Yeah.
Why would he want to go somewhere else?
I don't know.
Because he's getting paid money.
But okay, it could be that.
Because he's getting paid money.
It could be that, but I'm also open to sometimes things just turn sour behind the scenes. And I wouldn't know it. I wouldn't know it if a guy feels wronged or there was some personal issue with it, whatever. We just don't know all of it. I just don't know all of it.
If he felt wrong, though, what would he feel? What would he feel wrong about?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's a possibility.
I have no idea. It could be anything that goes wrong in any office in America where you just start disagreeing with your coworkers or your boss and it turns sour and you don't want to work there anymore. It's not public. Everybody didn't know about it. It could be anything.
The only thing that I can think is he thought he was above and beyond the top back in South Bend.
Yeah.
And he just wanted out.
Okay.
And
maybe
because he wanted 250 carries and he only wanted us to maybe get 50.
Okay. Like, there you go.
No way that,
but like, there you go.
There's no way that he thinks he's going to leave and go somewhere else and he's going to get those carries. He's going to go wherever he goes. He's going to split carries with somebody else as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm just saying it could be any of this stuff. It could just be any of this stuff. I don't know. So it's going to be interesting, man. And I'm just not. I freak out about a lot of stuff with Notre Dame, but only when I genuinely feel it's freak out worthy. And these guys leaving doesn't register like that to me.
It doesn't register to me like that either, John. But what does register to me is NIL and pay for play. That's going to hurt Notre Dame.
Yes.
And it already has with Bowen, with Keeley, and now with Diggs.
Yes.
I think that's two cases of pay for play, and that's one case of NIL.
I would go so far to say this. When we start losing
our starting guys,
I would go.
When teams start poaching our starters, you said it the other day on your last call-in show. When people start taking Isaiah Falskys and
Mayer,
the top players, let's say Jaden Greathouse has a good year this year. You don't think people are going to be calling him and saying, "Hey, come over here"?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
we did the same thing with Hartman, but I don't know. We can't do it as much. That's a rare case for Notre Dame. Notre Dame can't do it.
When I look at Marcus Freeman right now, and I ask myself what I think the number one impediment to him getting over the hump, meaning playoff success, we are going to have to find a way to succeed in recruiting elite guys in this pay-for-play era. It did not work at all last year. We played it all straight, did everything we could, built the relationships. The guys love Notre Dame, love Marcus, and we still ended up getting absolutely burned in the 11th hour. We cannot be hostages to that dynamic every recruiting cycle for the top guys that are interested in Notre Dame. That's a problem. That's the number one issue. That is a number one issue to me. And I don't know how you fix it because Notre Dame's not doing pay for play. They're doing legit NIL.
A question I wanted to ask you and everybody listening, everybody in the chat, because I don't know. I'm wondering, can there be anything done about pay for play in NIL? Can it be policed? Can it be changed? Can the NCAA jump in and do anything about it?
Here's the problem.
Because everything I've read, it's all...
No, here's the problem, man.
It makes no sense to me.
Everybody's telling me, 703, I'm coming to you, 443-269-385-269. I got you all coming up. Hang with me. All right. What the hell were we talking about? I just got off the track. Oh, was it NIL? What were we saying? I'm losing my mind today.
Diggs and NIL and pay for play.
But you asked a question. What was the question you asked?
Can NIL and pay for play be policed?
Oh, yes.
Obviously, people are breaking the rules.
Perfect. Thank you.
With Bowen and with Keon Keeley, somebody broke the rules.
Yeah.
Somebody cheated.
I'm glad you...
How do we stop that?
All right. Here's my answer. I don't understand this. When this comes up and people say they're cheating and they're doing pay for play, we want the NCAA to come in here and put ground rules in there. The new NCAA president said one of his first missions is to tighten up NIL and try and make sure that it's all above board and more fair. The issue with that is I don't care what they try to do. If there's a barrier that says $500,000 is the most one of your guys could get in a year, guess what's going to happen, man? The $500,000 is what's going to be reported. And the $2 million in the black bag is going to be delivered under grandma's porch at 2 a.m. the old school way. So you're not going to end this, because if there's a limit or a cap, that's what'll be public. The rest comes in that McDonald's bag in the middle of the night, like they've been doing down south for 50 freaking years. So you're never going to stop it. They're just going to do the other half illegally, and they already have been doing it for 30 years. So all these schools that do it already know how. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say
yeah,
this.
Exactly. I feel that way too, because I don't know how you stop it.
Everybody else. As well as you, as well as every other Notre Dame fan, fell in love with this university, and they knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew Notre Dame's values. So I'm not gonna sit here and complain about it, because I personally like that Notre Dame didn't pay Keon Keeley to come there and didn't pay Bowen to come there. I'm sure they tried to entice them with NIL offers, as everyone does, but they weren't trying to pay him to play like Alabama and like Oklahoma did. So I appreciate that from Notre Dame, and it's their values is why I love this university,
me too.
and I hope they never change.
Because if they didn't, well, look, there's little things that I would tweak where I think you could change it to a point where it doesn't say that it affects our value and our mission statement. There's a lot of things they could tweak to help football that wouldn't make me say the degree's worth less. We're cheapening it. That's a joke. Some of those Notre Dame people need to get the stick out of their behind and realize why anybody cares about the school at all. It's elite football history is the only reason any of this matters. None of the other ancillary benefits of Notre Dame would matter as much if not for that. They owe it to keep that going.
Jack is clearly drawn a line that it's academics before championships.
You know, it's
that going to change?
It's my number one concern is that NIL thing. Freeman can recruit all those guys, have them all fall in love, and the night before $3 million shows up and we lose them every year with no time to replace those guys in the class. That is my number one concern with Freeman is how do you fix that when we're not doing the pay for play? How are you going to get the top guys when they're all being offered money and you're not? And all you can offer them is you'll get a good education. Go to school, son. It's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. Even to good kids, it's a tough sell.
The recruiting class we got with everything that's going on that you just mentioned, take a look at our recruiting class knowing that, how impressive that is. And the fact that we made 2 playoff appearances in the past, I don't know how many years, with one hand tied behind our back. That's a feat in its own right, ain't it?
Yeah, imagine what we could do if we actually had a full team put together, all complementary parts like a real big boy operation, and you actually had a good offense and a good defense for once. Imagine what Notre Dame could do then. Do I ask for too much?
I hear you, brother. And when I know people like to talk about CJ Carr and Justin Scott, and this last recruiting cycle messed me up. I will never, ever take a verbal commitment serious again in my life.
No, I feel
never do it.
Man, I'm glad you said that. I feel the same way. When I do not get that rush of excitement I used to have when I see a tweet, oh, Notre Dame gets a verbal, I do not. It used to all excite me. We got another one in the fold and I could walk around feeling good that day. I do not. In fact, it's almost the opposite where I go, the better they are, the more I worry that they're not going to be here. So it's like, it has really leveled my excitement out about that. Last year was a kick to the gut in that regard. And I'll never look at these verbals the same again. It almost means absolutely nothing.
Until Keeley, Scott, and Carr are on my campus.
Yep.
I will not believe it.
Yep, you have to do it. That I have to do it.
I know you listen, need buddy. To get other callers, buddy.
But listen, man, I have to look at it that way to protect my own sanity now because I can't go down the path of frustration I did last year, building into those guys. As long as Keeley was committed, looking at those highlights and imagining him in our defense, I can't do that anymore to myself. So, like you said, I'm not worried about it till they sign because it's a joke.
Right.
Hey, man, really good call, my friend.
I know you're from the Chicago area.
Yeah.
I know you're from the Chicago area. I got a quick question off the topic of Notre Dame football real fast. I got to know, do or die or Twister, who you like better?
Oh, my God, dude. I saw Twister a bunch when he was in Chicago. I saw Twister a bunch as an old school dude and a Chicago dude. So I like his flow, and I seen him a couple times live in the Chicago area. Really good. But Do or Die had a couple of them albums and songs. You like summer cruising, man. It makes you just want to cruise some of that stuff. Smooth.
Oh, that whole picture of this album was awesome.
Yeah. Do you want to ride in the backseat of a caddy, chopping up with Do or Die? I can just picture me rolling down Lakeshore late at night. Yeah, those were the days, man, back when I was young. I'm glad you brought that up.
Exactly. You would know who I talk about.
Yeah. I love that. Man, I really appreciate the call. A lot of people said you have really good points and a good call. And most importantly, a crystal clear phone line. I appreciate that too. But really good thoughts, man. Stay in the loop.
And no problem. Hey, man, thanks for the outlet. Your show is awesome. I listen to it every time you're on. I'm going to continue to do so. Hey, everybody listening, hit that like button for John. He deserves it. He does an awesome job. I'm going to leave you this last thing, John. September 23rd, Irish Nation. Let's fill that stadium with green.
No more red takeovers. There you go. I like that. Yeah, the only red takeover now is our quarterback going to put on a red jersey. There's another red takeover.
Right. Hey, John,
Shit, there's another red takeover. Everything we do is a red takeover. I'm sick of this red. USC red. USC red. Ohio State red. Alabama red. I'm sick of that. I want red dead. I want red dead. What? What'd you ask?
You mentioned something the other day about red. You had something to say about red. It was right after the blue and gold game.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna save that. That's something I'm gonna put something together. I'll post it. Yeah, I got an angle on that, and you're gonna like it, and you're the reason I'm coming up with it. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for the call, man. Great one.
Later, brother.
Later. He always gets me going. All right, here's the deal. I got a bunch of calls like that just came in. The log wasn't that crowded, and now it is. I want to try and get through as many people as I can, give people a voice, but we're probably not going to be able to go that long. So I want to try and breeze through and give everybody some input. And I want to know, what do you think of Buckner? And what do you make of these transfers and what that means for Notre Dame? So have that in mind as the 2 points, callers. 703, we're coming to you.
John, I'm getting a real kick out of all these Alabama fans freaking out that, oh, no, we got a Notre Dame.
I know.
We're going to be awful. It's just crazy.
It is funny, man. It's a riot. And it's just, I all day yesterday, how are you letting these leprechauns take over this program? What the hell's going on? Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. What do you make of the Buckner move? You think he has a chance to start? Is this a good move for him or what? What do you think?
I think he has a great chance to start. I mean, Buckner didn't look that great in the spring game, but neither did Alabama.
But what does that say about Alabama? But what does that say about Alabama? They don't have no young five-star hotshot that they're taking Notre Dame's backup. How did we get here? How did they get here? Misevaluation of young recruits? How did they end up without a five-star guy ready to go? It's Alabama, I thought. How'd they end up in this spot?
I don't know. I guess Bill O'Brien really just can't develop quarterbacks well anymore. Sort of like Golden with linebackers. Like these NFL guys, just they think they like become like NFL guys and not college guys anymore. I think that might be a big part of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. But never in my wildest dreams did I think I could turn on a TV and see Tommy Rees and Buckner facing LSU and Brian Kelly. Like, life changes fast, man. It's just absolutely wild, everything that's gone on. What do you think?
Yeah, we're all going to be roll damn tied that Saturday.
Oh, that's for sure. 100%. So where does this leave Notre Dame? Obviously, it means Hartman's got to stay in one piece next year. But what about after that? How do you see that shaping out with Notre Dame's quarterback room?
I'm not saying I'm counting Angeli out, but I think Lynch's going to be the guy in 2024. I think he's going to get a year of development. He's going to get a lot more first-team reps than he would have last if Tyler stayed. I think Kenny is the guy for 2024, and then Carr will redshirt, and then who knows who's going to be the starter in 2025.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun quarterback battle.
You know what? I saw that as a realistic angle. There could be a window there where Minchie has that extra year, and then he gets that job, and then Carr kind of learns as a redshirt, and then they compete that next year and have a real upscale battle. I could see that being realistic too. Wait, now let me ask you this though. I honestly don't know the answer to this. Not a trick question. If Hartman were to get dinged up next year, is it just a slam dunk that Angeli's the backup because they don't want to burn Minchie's year because he gets to 4 games, but if you do more, you lose the year. So is it just a given that it's going to be him? I don't know that.
I'm thinking that'll be the case because they don't want to get rid of Minchie's red shirt.
Exactly.
But what if Angeli looks really bad? Then
right.
we're all going to panic.
Yeah. And then I talked to somebody yesterday who suggested if it's cleanup duty or like whatever here and there, it would be Angeli. But if you had to do a full year thing, like if it was a real nightmare, like Buckner getting hurt game 2, that might change their opinion on starting the development phase if it's for that long of a period. Let's just cross our fingers we don't have to go there. Freeman just can't afford that nightmare again. We can't have that nightmare again. Lucky the Irish, please just let him stay healthy.
For sure. I'll be paying my rosaries for that.
Man, nothing's easy. And then what do you make of these guys leaving? Is the sky falling? Is this a part of the natural transition between regimes? Are these guys selfish, looking for more playing time and don't want to wait? Like, what should a Notre Dame fan take out of all these occurrences?
For Styles, let him go. I agree with you. He had his chance last year, didn't make the most of it. Diggs, I think it's just our running back room is really good, and Dylan McCullough is going to be a great coach. Hopefully, he stays at Notre Dame for a while. But I just think it's that, he just got beat out by Love and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, listen, man.
On the other hand, it bothers me.
The guy might not. He just might not want to share carries and think he doesn't have to share carries. The guy just might think he deserves a larger load and he's not going to get it, so he's going to go somewhere and get it. I don't think that means Freeman's bad at his job and doesn't know how to run a program. If somebody felt that way, I just don't see how that translates to that end point. I can't get there logically.
And for Collie, it bothers me a bit. Collie bothers me a bit because I think he should have gotten more playing time than Kaiser and JD Bertrand because they didn't look good. They weren't great last year. And I think Collie showed flashes, but he's never really got the chance to play.
I will say this. I'm going to agree with you. I actually had a little star on my notes when I went over the guys who have left. And that was an asterisk I put there. And the reasoning was what you said. If anybody has an argument here, I could argue there were times last year you could have threw him out there more just with his athleticism and see more of what's going on. I agree with you. That's a very good point. He would be the one that maybe has a legitimate beef about, like, I could have made an argument to be out there a lot more. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good thing that guys are leaving because, I mean, it means that our team's getting better, but yeah, just really hoping that Hartman stays healthy.
Oh my God.
We cannot have that again.
You just can't. You cannot do it. I don't want that guy doing, you just need to protect him. I don't even want to think about it. And if you could thread that needle, make it through unscathed next year, and then get into these young guys with that high potential, and that's the path, but it has to go smoothly. So I don't know, man. It's going to be wild. Anything else on your mind?
I really hope that Michael Mayer falls to my Commanders, but I don't think he will. But if he goes to DC, I'm going to be excited as a fan of the team.
Yeah,
with the new owner now.
It is no risk, all upside with Michael Mayer. Bringing him into your city as a citizen, all the stuff he's going to do. You're never going to have an off-field issue, and he's just going to be all day reliable all day long. So somebody's going to get a great person and a great player, and we're gonna want to see him succeed.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for the show as always, John.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for calling. Okay. You have a good weekend now.
You too.
See ya. Man, I got nice callers. I wish some of the mean people should call. It'd be a lot more fun. 443, you're talking to me. What's going on Friday?
Hey, John. I'm calling in. I think we're so short-sighted. It's ridiculous. Who recruited Lorenzo Styles? Who recruited Buckner? Who recruited Diggs? And who recruited Prince Kelly? They're all gone.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Those people are gone. Logan Diggs wanted to transfer as a freshman. If you remember that story, he wanted to transfer as a freshman. Who convinced him to stay? Tommy Reese. Tommy Reese was his biggest advocate. He's gone. Why should he stay?
Yeah.
And then Buckner going to Alabama makes perfect sense because the guy that he walked into, I said it to you on the phone, is Tommy went to take a guy he said was less good than Buckner when he recruited him. So Buckner's biggest ally was Tommy Reese because Tommy Reese didn't want to go into the transfer portal. You remember that? So if I'm Buckner, my biggest ally is somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
That's a
Prince
good
Collie-
point. That's a good point. But wait. I want to say, here's one thing I love that you said, because I've been thinking this too. Tell me if I'm interpreting you right or wrong. You were saying a part of this does have to do with the meshing of these two regimes, and the old one and the new one, and who was involved with building that roster and loving those guys or whatever. I think some of this is natural when you're going through this calibration of the new guy and the old guy. Some of it's natural. We just don't like it here. It just hits us weird here. But I don't think it's necessarily a red flag. I don't.
It's not a very. Me and you had a debate in January. I didn't want to transfer quarter. I wanted to see us develop a quarterback. Okay, Hartman's here. It is what it is. Eventually, we have to take that thing. But why should Buckner stay when at the end of the season, after, he had a decent South Carolina. He made a lot of mistakes, but he's a young quarterback. And you say, you're not good enough, and the guy that was fighting for you to not bring in a transfer left, why am I going to stay? And as far as Prince Collie, he was recruited by Clark Lee. You remember when Clark Lee was on him, he was only like a 3-star prospect. And then all of the other teams started getting after we offered them, and then they started offering, like it always happens. You know what I'm saying? We get on these kids early, and then the other team's like, oh, let me take a look. Notre Dame offered them. And then they come after them. But let me be honest. Lorenzo Style leaving, he's switching to corner. Do you want to know what the craziest thing in my life is? I've been watching Notre Dame since the 80s. Our cornerback room, I'm like, that's a tough road to trend right now. And I never say that.
Yeah.
In our situation. Who's he going to overtake? Cam Hart, who's a 3rd or a 4th round draft pick? A Morrison that's on pace to be a 1st round draft pick? Then you're talking safety. You know, maybe he could have moved to safety. But I'm just saying, like, we're so short-sighted. And Collie, me and you talked all football season how the linebackers weren't getting it done.
Yeah.
All season, John. From game 1 to game 9, it didn't even look like they were in the right game.
Yeah.
And you're telling me if I'm Collie and I'm sitting in that room and I can see they're not getting it done and be like, well, what do you think of me then?
Yes.
What do you think of me if they're not getting it done?
See,
that means you don't think much of me.
Here's the problem I have. If you've ever been in a competitive environment or on an athletic team that's competitive for playing time or whatever, you start to kind of feel, where you fall in the pecking order, and whether it's right or wrong. Like, guys that are better than you, guys you're better than. And if that doesn't line up with the playing time, that's an issue. And it's a big issue. And there's resentment there. And like, Collie is the one that I will admit has a beef of like, I think I should have been out there more. And I will say, I agree. All the other guys, I think, were doing what they were doing. But that one I do get. And I wanted to see him run around and get some more experience last year, but it didn't work out.
I mean, but Diggs, I mean, they're like, how could he leave? How could he leave? He wanted to leave as a freshman. The only reason he stayed was Tommy Reese, and Tommy Reese started giving him carries because Kyron Williams got hurt for that little stretch. So he started to get put into the run game with a little carries. The man fighting, Audric Estime was a starter at the beginning of the season because Logan Diggs had his shoulder injury. Much ado about nothing. Tommy Reese was Logan Diggs' activist. His family tried to convince him to say Tommy Reese was the main factor. He stayed as a true freshman. And then look at that. We all talk about Estime needs 20 or 30 carries all the time.
Yep.
All the time. It's all I ever hear. Feed Estime.
Yep.
Diggs goes out the back, and then it's like all this. Well, look, we got Love coming in. Okay, JD, he's coming off an Achilles, but he had a lot of potential. Then there's we have running backs. Now, the other beef I have is everyone wants to talk about the screen baker. Taj Baker was playing left tackle. He looks like Tarzan. He plays like Jane. I'm sorry. That's just a fact. I wish him nothing but the best. But he didn't even touch Jordan Botelho half that freaking blue gold game. Didn't even touch him. Might want to make your list of putting one hand on him. Okay? It's just like. And here's the thing. Looking at our freshman linebackers, look at their body types.
Yeah.
They're all big guys from what I saw.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I was looking at the game, I'm like, look at the athleticism, look at their body type. Kyle Lee's not a big linebacker. If the new coach is showing he has a body type that I don't fit, am I a square peg in a round hole?
Yeah.
And you know what? If he goes to Vanderbilt with Clark Lee, that was the guy that initially believed in him. The guys we're talking about transferring have no ties to the new coaching staff whatsoever.
Yeah.
Who's from there? And you're like, why would I leave? Well, when the person that recruits you and says they believe in you leave, I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, we said the linebackers didn't cut it. But now
okay,
it's like,
but wait. But wait. So where are we as the fan base getting off track here? Is it the idea that we're just so protective of Notre Dame and it just kind of sucks to see guys leave that we just feel like that shouldn't happen here? Like why are the human feelings we're talking about being done wrong, or your guy that liked you's gone, or you're not playing as much as you should? Why does that go all out the window at Notre Dame? But these other places, guys come and go, and it's not talked about like this.
Yeah, but we're still in, not to cut you off, John, sorry, but we're still in the Aaron Lynch days where Aaron Lynch would leave and there's no one filling the hole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's different. That's different than what's going on here. Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's way different.
There's no one
way
filling
different.
the hole.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Good
and
call.
if I'm looking at Minter and Drake Bowen and all the guys, I looked at our linebackers and be like, holy crap, they're really athletic.
And
really big,
Osbury, all them guys.
And they're very athletic. You can see the difference in that defense. But the moral of the story is, if I don't fit a system, I got to go somewhere where somebody believes me that fits the system. And I think Kyle wasn't playing because he doesn't really fit Freeman's system. He's been recruiting bigger linebackers, athletic linebackers, and Kylie's really athletic, but he's still 210 pounds. He was a Clark Lee guy. Clark Lee was why he was here. Yeah. Clark Lee's no longer here.
But see, people don't want to talk about that, though. People want to live in this romantic Notre Dame world where that doesn't matter. You're at Notre Dame. We all love Notre Dame. Here's what I think you have going on, man, and this is very hard for fans. I love Notre Dame. My family loves Notre Dame. We love the values. We're Irish Catholics. We live by those values. If it's the framework of our existence, this university represents that. It means everything to us. We love Notre Dame no matter what. We need to understand as fans, a lot of these players and coaches did not grow up like that. They might like Notre Dame and want to be there, but it's not the relationship I have with Notre Dame where it's in my soul forever. That's not this dynamic. And I feel like some fans think all those players and coaches have to feel the way we do about here, where I'd never want to coach anywhere else or play anywhere else no matter what. That isn't how these guys look at it. Not everybody has that relationship with Notre Dame on that existential level as we do. Sometimes I think we need to understand that.
Oh, yeah, but like I said, it's different, though, to me, too, because Kylie's leaving. I saw a lot of talent in the Gold game, and I'm like, wow, he's got it. I think he's got it.
Yeah.
I'm not hurting about it. You know what used to hurt? When Aaron Lynch left, and it was like, wow, when are we going to get a guy like that again?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was a 5-star kid that showed he was a 5-star kid. When he left, I was hurt because I didn't see it. And then running back, we have one of the best offensive lines, Plausible Wagner. And I go like this, we have a lot of young talents coming in there. It was overcrowded as is. And Diggs' biggest asset left. And he was going to transfer as a freshman. We can't just be like, oh, why would he leave? Why would he leave? Why would he stay? The only person that convinced him to stay had left.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good point.
I'm just to that point.
It's a good point, my friend. No, I like it. Thanks for the energy. I like what you're saying. Really good call, man. Anything else? I want to give some other people a shot. Really good call, man.
Have a blessed one. Bye.
You too. Thank you very much. Oh, I love that, man. Everybody, I love this energy, especially for this time of the year. I love blowing through these calls. It's fun. 269. What's going on?
Hey, I'm just here to discuss a few topics with you.
Beautiful. What's up? What's top of mind?
I mean, it may not bother any other Notre Dame fans that those guys transferred, but it kind of does me. To me, it's not a good look for Marcus Freeman.
In what way?
Because, I mean, like, to me, Buckner had the reins, after Hartman leaves. And I just feel like Freeman didn't do enough to try to keep Tyler.
So were you against going after Hartman? Because the second that decision was made, it put Buckner on the move as a possibility. So were they right or wrong for going after Hartman, the best available quarterback in the portal? Because that's what kind of started this. So was that a bad decision?
I mean, it could go either way because I think Buckner played pretty well against South Carolina in the Gator Bowl. And if he would have came back healthy, I think he could have performed like that all season long. The only thing that worried me was his performance in the spring game. I didn't like it. And at that moment, I knew he had lost confidence in himself.
Yeah. What about health? That's a big part of this too, is the health. I think that's a big reason Freeman went after Hartman, was so we didn't end up in the exact same spot we were in last year where you want to go with Buckner, but if he gets hurt, we're dead. So that's why they wanted another guy. It's just a tricky dynamic. Freeman didn't want to expose us that if Buckner gets hurt again, we're dead for the whole year. So I don't blame him for trying to insulate the operation in that way, but it just has unintended consequences.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I mean, to my point is, I think if Kelly's still the coach, we don't lose those guys. That's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, we don't lose those guys because they're Kelly's guys, a lot of them. It makes perfect sense because they were like Kelly era guys. And the other reason that you wouldn't follow me, the other reason you wouldn't lose these guys if Kelly was still here is because he would never in a million years recruit younger guys better to push them and take their spots. So you're probably right because he would never recruit good enough that a true freshman could go up and steal Styles' spot. So I think you're right, but not for the reason that you think.
And I don't like how Freeman is losing the recruiting battles to these big schools still. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't have kept Peyton Bowen and Keon Keeley.
There's a big reason. Money. Upfront pay for play money is a big reason, and we're not allowed to do that. What did you want Freeman to do about that?
Well, I mean, as a Notre Dame fan, I've been a Notre Dame fan since the day I was born. It's time that they make changes. I know a lot of fans don't want to see them changes, but if you want to start competing for championships, you've got to make changes.
I mean, I agree because that's a big issue is losing the top end of that recruiting class. Notre Dame does NIL pretty decently, but it is by the book. It is get in here, prove yourself. We will provide you opportunities that are appropriate. Going up against pay for play, that's tough. It's a totally different dynamic, and we're going to have to figure out how to navigate that.
Absolutely. And I mean, Freeman, they seem to love Freeman and the administration over there. And I'm sure if he went in and was like, look, I need some of these changes made to be able to get these guys to win championships, I'm sure Swarbrick would bring it to the table.
I can verify. I have a very close friend, might even be watching the show. I don't know. But had a lunch with a lot of the kind of admin Notre Dame people, top level brass, and had an event. And everybody there seems to love Marcus. They love working with him. They want to work for him. They want to give him what he needs. They love his vibe. He treats everybody great. And all of the reporting says that they all love him at an administrative level and they want to help him out. So take that forever what you want, but that's what I've been told. It's a night and day dynamic from how Kelly interacted with the administration and Freeman. They actually want to help Freeman. He treats them the right way, and it's a healthy dynamic. That's what I was told. Believe it, don't believe it, I don't know, but that's my report.
Well, yeah, I mean, every Notre Dame fan knows that Kelly wasn't the nicest guy when it came to, in person. But, my thing is, like, so we lose these guys to the transfer portal, but the only way we can replace them is getting graduate transfers. And that's got to change also, because if you were that great of a player as a graduate transfer, you would either be in the draft or you wouldn't have to leave because you would have a starting spot.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And the other thing the other path that you're leading me down is when you talk about all those transfers and how it's harder at Notre Dame and other teams have 30, 40 guys coming and going, you bring up a good point. A lot of our guys tend to be grad guys because it's so hard to have those credits transfer for undergrads. It's very hard for Notre Dame to go after those guys that are in that portal but younger because of all the grades and everything. It's harder at Notre Dame. There's no doubt it's harder. Let me ask you this. Who do you think ends up being the quarterback after the Hartman year then? You're not going to have Buckner. You're going to have Angeli, Minchie on year 2, true freshman CJ Carr. Who do you think wins that? How do you want that battle to go?
Oh man, that's a pretty tricky question that you're asking me. You put me on the spot.
I know, because I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer either. It's not a trick question. I genuinely don't know how it's going to shake out.
In my opinion, I would go with CJ Carr just because I think he's going to come in with the more college-ready talent. And, I mean, watching his videos of him throwing and being at the Elite 11, I think Carr is ready now. And if you play it right, I think he can start next season.
Yeah, that's interesting. I want him to keep getting bigger and stronger and bulk up. But if he is physically mature enough that you can do that, and it's not a disaster, that's Notre Dame. You hitch your wagon to that guy. We all grow with them. The young talent all grows with them, the receivers, whatever. And in about 2 years down the road, then you're really, really cooking. I would be open to that. Anything else on your mind, my friend? I appreciate the call today.
Well, back to the Card thing. It seems to me like Notre Dame wants him to be the future. Like,
yes,
like he could be, the guy for the next 3 to 5 years. And I believe that if he comes in shape, ready to play, that we could see, a CJ Stroud situation where he comes in, plays as a freshman, and continues to play until he's ready to leave for the NFL.
Yeah, it would be of all the paths Notre Dame's taken at quarterback, think about it. They've had older guys that emerged later in their careers, kind of like how Ian Book, came on late and all that. And then we've done the transfer thing now twice with Cohn and now Hartman. The one path I want to see him try with Freeman is hitching your wagon to a younger guy with elite upside. Everybody knows he's the man. You're building everything around it for a few years, and you hitch your wagon to that guy, and we go from there. I would love to see Notre Dame try that way and see what results we get. It'd be nice.
Is Estime the guy who can carry us in the backfield, or was losing Logan really big of a deal? Because in my opinion, it is.
I'm telling you, I got a feeling Estime is the kind of guy, if you told him we're going to double your workload, he would start foaming at the mouth, excited at the idea to start hitting people more. I think Estime is the type of back that the more you give him carries, the more juiced up he goes, the more lathered he gets. I think that guy could go. And it's not like you don't have anybody else. I mean, Payne can play, Price can play.
We're supposed to have like a top 3 offensive line, correct?
They should be good. They should be good enough.
And last thing is, how do you see the season going? Like, do we make the playoffs or?
If I had to guess, I'm going to guess 10-2 and then leave me a margin of leeway up or down one game. Like if I logically had to pick one, I would say 10-2 with a flex one way or the other. Down 9-3 one game, or things all really come together up 11-1. That's how I would pick it. Which games? I'm not sure yet. But that's kind of what I'm feeling, assuming reasonable health. But anything lower than 10-2, the natives are going to be real restless.
Do you see? Okay, last question. I promise. Do you see anybody else major entering the transfer portal?
I sure hope not. I want to be done with this. I hope not. I was told there will be one more skill guy going. Like that's been around a while about Diggs, but I haven't heard anything else. And the Cowley one, I heard about that 2 weeks ago. So I haven't heard anything else, but who knows?
Who's the skill guy?
The what?
Who's the skill guy that you said might be going?
Well, I think they were talking about Diggs. That's what they meant by that. Like a hands guy, somebody in on offense in that side. So But I didn't. Whatever.
Man,
I don't know.
as long as it's not Chris Tyree, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, and Chris Tyree, man, new wide receiver, gonna be out there running around, getting more carries. Thanks for the call, my friend. I hope you have a good weekend.
You too, and thanks for letting me come on your show. I'm actually a big fan. I just started watching like 2 days ago.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for being here. And we got some good things coming in the summer, and I got some new things coming when the season hits to get you guys more involved. So I appreciate you joining. Save the number. Call me again, buddy.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. Appreciate that. Always like having new callers. 385. Make it come alive.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. What's on your mind?
Hey, my name's Renee. I'm from Utah, man. Long time Irish fan. So imagine being a little Mexican boy via downtown Los Angeles, in the heart of Mormon country as an Irish fan.
Man,
right?
you got a blend of all different worlds there, man. You got a little everything going on.
Yeah.
Man, I represent us strong.
Yeah, we do, man. And like you, although I'm not as a devout practicing Catholic anymore, more of a Bible believing Christian, but my mother's a devout Catholic. I feel you on the whole, what Notre Dame means to you. You know, me and my daughter went to a school that patterned themselves after Notre Dame, a public school. I mean, from the color to the winning tradition to the academics. I mean, to the alumni being what they are. I mean, I love the Irish. I got the Heisman pose in Irish tattooed on my left arm. I had never seen them play live. You know, growing out west, we finally got to watch him play live. I went to the coaches clinic, 2013, with a friend, and so I visited the university 10 years ago. But I just recently visited 3 times in the last month to go watch the girls play. Long story short, what I'm saying is that I love that school. I love the way you talked about it, how you made that comment. I'm a fan of yours, man. Like, I love everything Irish, from the girls basketball team to the rowing to the soccer to the football. Like, there's something about that university.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
different.
There
It's different.
so,
yeah, and it hits you different. Yeah. Yep, I agree with you. So does that make it really hurt you to see our guys leave, Buckner leave, and these guys transfer? Does it cut you deep because of that?
So let me tell you this. I had the opportunity to watch Cooper Bateman, which was a 5-star recruit. I was on the same coaching staff on the high school team that Cooper Bateman came out of via Salt Lake City, Utah, 5-star recruit that went to Alabama. How about that, right? So I'm listening to all these people talk. So when Cooper left, and I'll answer your question, I said, hey, you're going somewhere where these boys, they don't have the beautiful mountains behind them. They don't go to the suburbs back. They go back to some shitholes. They're going to come after you, Cooper. So you better be ready to play, son. So my answer to you is, like, everybody's like, oh, we lost Buckner, we lost this and that. Cooper didn't play. When he came back here, he didn't play. When he came back home, he didn't play. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, honestly, I liked Buckner in the Gator Bowl. I felt that he was resilient. I felt that he finally had his chance to prove himself. What really hurt me was Drew Pine leaving. Because people lie, numbers don't. Coaches will lie to you. They will. They'll tell you what you want to hear, man. I know, because I'm a coach, and I don't lie to my kids, but I've seen my kids lie too. I've seen kids that miss practice and get to play, and I've had to call out the coaches. That's why I don't play no more. That's why I don't coach no more. And I've had to call out coaches, hey, homie, you know he missed. Yeah, well, we need him. Hey, what do you mean? So what about this kid? Well, fuck it. If we lose by 50, what are you teaching the kid? Right? Because football's gonna end. But anyways, I love how Buckner played, man. I love how he was resilient.
So let me ask you this.
Man, my blood pressure for the Irish gets just like yours.
Was it a mistake? Was it a mistake to bring Hartman in, though? Would you have preferred they not do that and just strap it down with Buckner and try and run it back next year? Would that have been your move? Or?
No. You know what? I'm gonna be selfish right there. Hartman's going to help us win. He's
I
a
know.
true quarterback.
I wanted it all,
he's
man.
a true quarterback.
I wanted
You
it
asked me a
all.
question.
I wanted
asked-
Hartman as the
Yeah.
one, and I wanted loyal Buckner as my backup. And maybe
Well,
I
you
just
know-
don't
you know-
get
you
it
know
all,
what?
bud. Maybe I just don't get everything my
I-
little Irish heart wants. Maybe who am I? Who
I
the hell
honestly-
am I to get everything I want? Who cares about me?
You're an Irish fan like me, but here's the thing. I really believed in Drew Pine. I know people are going to say, oh, this is this asshole. But remember, I watched Cooper Bateman, a 5-star recruit, number 2 quarterback, come out of my high school. And he didn't play for shit in Alabama. He lost to Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts was more athletic. And that's why Tyler Buckner might have a slight chance at Alabama with his relationship with Toomey because he's athletic. He's not a quarterback. I'm sorry to break you guys' heart. He's not your 6'4", throw it back, pocket passer. He's not. Watch his games. He is the dual threat. He's got legs. He can hurt you with your legs, or yeah, if he happens to be good enough to get in the pocket and see the receivers and the routes, he'll hit one or two. Watch the games that he lost. He should have won them. We should not have lost more. And then you throw Drew Pine in there, whose confidence was broken after he had backed up Cohen pretty good, especially in the Wisconsin game. You know what I mean? Like, I was a big believer in Drew Pine. Honestly, my answer to you would be to have Hartman, have Drew Pine come in one more year, develop Angeli, Carr, and Minchie, and let them battle it out once those two leave. I mean, I like those good old days when players battled it out and they waited their turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
those
I mean?
those days are gone.
Hey, man, look. I backed up. Stanley Havili was a USC fullback that came out of my high school where I played. I played with his older brother. Okay, Stanley Havili holds 4 records at USC. Dear friend of mine, bought my daughter her first Kobe's ever. Like, it's funny the way God works. I believe in God. So I backed up his brother, his older brother. One of my friends one of my dearest friends who's born in Nigeria, and I backed up 2 first-team All-Staters. I had to wait my turn, but you did that, right? You did that.
Yeah,
you did that. I simply wasn't good enough to beat those dudes down. I wasn't going to be good enough. My junior year, I got that rock.
I just think things changed. Like, now you don't have to sit out to transfer, and these guys want to go play now. And I just think you're going to see more and more of this, and guys are going to jump around. And some of them are going to win and hit the jackpot. It's going to work out. Some of them are going to regret their decision as well. That's the side of this we don't talk about, is the grass not always being greener on the other side. I think some of these guys are going to regret some of their decisions, maybe not even in college, but down the road, maybe. So I don't know, man.
They will.
Yeah. So I don't know.
They will, and then like I tell you, I'm not hurt about Buckner leaving. I'm not hurt because I see like Drew Pine came in and won 8 out of 10 games, and he got the chance because Buckner was hurt. People might say in your comments, "Hey, well, Buckner was hurt." Blah blah blah. Yeah, but Buckner's first 2 games was dog shit.
Yeah, no.
Buckner's first season was dog shit. But you know what? I did believe in him being a solid backup because of the Gator Bowl game to Sam Hartman. I did believe that. And then after that, I'll be like, oh, he'll probably transfer after this year. We'll get Angeli, we'll get Minchie, we'll get Carr, and those guys will battle it out. They'll get a true quarterback, a true veteran quarterback. Logan Diggs, I'll be honest, man. I don't like to see any guys that I've seen round me up, catch a touchdown.
Yeah. You don't want to see him leave.
Really help you.
Yeah.
No, especially how Logan Diggs played in the Gator Bowl. Like, to me, I feel that hurts. I feel that hurts the running because you can. Like you said, I agree with you. You give Estimate the ball, keep feeding them. But eventually, you're going to get a bad hit or two.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
Yep. Nope. You're right.
It happens to the best of them. You're gonna get a bad hit or two. Jamal Anderson played for Utah, right? That year he set that record for Atlanta. He had the most carries in NFL history per season. I mean, even the bus. What did he say? It takes him 45 minutes to get downstairs of his house. You know, I mean, and right now he can do it, but like how some of the other callers have said, in this day and age, some of these kids are bigger, faster, more physical. You know, they barely wear anything compared to the pads we were wearing. So, I mean, I agree with you. Let's feed Estimate. But he takes a bad hit or two. Can the guy backing him up now that's not Logan Diggs, Payne, is it Payne? What's his name?
Jabron Payne, and then you got Love.
Jabron Payne. Yes, you got Jabron Payne, and you got a monster coming in Jeremiah Love. Boy, I absolutely love that.
Hey, and don't forget about JD Price. If JD Price gets healthy, watch out for him too. I think we're going to be fine.
Right?
I think we're going to be okay.
We're going to be fine. And you know what? It's Notre Dame. Kids are going to line up to come here. You know, that's the funny thing. And you know what? Let me tell you something, man. Marcus Freeman is the best decision they could have done for the program. I don't care what, and your comments might start blowing up, call me whatever. You know why? Because those kids love that dude, man. And you know what? If, like you said, back to your comment. It's in my family. It's what we live by. It's just my core values. It's in my soul. It's in my blood. Listen to Marcus Freeman speak. To somebody who's good, let's take, for example, when they talked about Jim McMahon going to BYU, right? Because, it was California party surfer kid, blah, blah. Okay. So imagine a dude like that or going into Notre Dame or a person of that, like, thing, going into Notre Dame and not adapting that attitude, not adapting that culture, that, hey, our academics do come first. Yeah, I want to win just like the next man. Don't get me wrong. My blood pressure gets huge up, like, through the roof. Like, I watch Notre Dame with my dog or with my dad, and everybody, all my family knows, don't watch the Irish with him.
Hey, here's what I need from you, man. I'm going to tell you this as we wrap up. I'm going to tell you this. I tell everybody this that calls in and they live in an area that's not a popular Notre Dame area. I'm in the Chicago area. Like, it's not uncommon to have Notre Dame around here. I tell all of you people that my friends living in SEC country, the people I know out west and in LA or whatever that love Notre Dame, Las Vegas, you guys got to hold strong for us. Walk around with that Irish stuff on and let us be known all over the country, man. Don't kowtow to USC or anybody else out there. Wear that green, baby.
Oh, never. Always. Hey, Southern Utah lady went to go play you guys, right? Went to play. Like I said, I took my daughter just a few weeks ago on a bucket list trip to go see the university. And then I went to strength and conditioning chemist because Coach Bayless, the strength performance coach, coached some of the dudes with Urban Meyer here at Utah these 2 years here with some of the dudes that I played on those high school teams with. See, so even though I didn't go to the Notre Dame, man, I have a connection with that university in my heart and my soul, man. Like, I love it, man.
Yeah.
Like I tell you.
That's what it's all about.
I'm watching my parents live in that town that Southern Utah University is in, right? So we're watching the basketball game. I'm sitting with the Utah state representatives of Southern Utah, the president of the University of Southern Utah, and two of our state senators. And I got my Irish hat and my Notre Dame.
There you go, man. Hey, keep representing for us.
I love the Irish.
Keep representing for us.
But honestly, John, love your show, man. Love the energy. Marcus Freeman is the right dude. He is the right dude. I feel that we're gonna be okay with the quarterbacks coming in. And honestly, like, Kelly couldn't win a big game. That was the happiest day for me as a Notre Dame football fan when he finally said he was gone. Couldn't win a big game. Sorry that you went to Georgia and played 6-9. Sorry, it's still not a win.
Thanks for the call, my friend. So, give me a call again. I like your energy. Thank you.
Okay, John. Yeah.
Have a good one, man. That guy had a lot to say. 269. What's going on?
Oh, hey, John.
Yeah. Yep. I'm here.
Oh, hi. Big fan of the show. This is my first time calling in. I grew up in the Niles area, so I'm right over state line from South Bend. So I see ground zero firsthand of everybody panicking right now, and I kind of have to laugh.
I listen, man. I am notorious for being over emotional about whatever happens with Notre Dame football. That is how I made this brand work and gain any steam. Is for the last 8 years, me freaking out emotionally about whatever's going on. I don't have that in me on this angle. I wish I had those guys not leaving, but I'm not saying that the world's ending and Marcus is bad at this because of it either. There is a reasonable middle ground position to say it would have been nice to have Diggs here, but him leaving isn't the end of the world. Where am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, that running back room has only gotten better. I mean, everybody's sitting up there talking about the big loss that Diggs was, but did you guys watch the spring game? Did you see Jabron Payne just kind of come alive? He kind of popped out. Guys, we're deep at running back. It's probably the one position on this team that other than offensive line, that I think that, okay, we're confident we can recover. I mean, if JD Price gets healthy, you still have Estimate that's going to carry the rock. You have Jabron that can
But my
take care of
question is,
take the
here's
punishment.
here's my philosophical question for you that I don't have an answer for, and it's been bugging me. When guys come and go from other schools, I don't see it always being talked about on social media as the world's ending. What's going wrong here? It's business as usual. Why is it so different here? Is it because it's Notre Dame? Is that the only reason it's Notre Dame?
I think it's just a little of that, and the transfer portal stuff is still really, really new. And I watch football shows and stuff from all over the country from other teams. I mean, like before all the stuff with Buckner and Diggs were going on, everybody was freaking out about Colorado losing like 40 dudes in that sector. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And then as for the Buckner thing, like, I have a feeling that he probably, he and Tommy Reese were probably still keeping in contact.
Yeah.
Tommy Reese goes to Alabama. See, they have a problem at quarterback, and he probably was like, hey, if you don't win this quarterback battle with Hartman, not saying that you can't, but if things don't work out for you, give me a call because I need some help down here in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
So I think that's how that went down because things happened way too fast. Where one day he announced he's going to the transfer portal, and then the next day he's going to Bama.
Do you still
everybody freaked out?
Do you still think going after a Hartman in the portal was the right move and all that? And these are just some of the unfortunate like consequences of some of these decisions you feel like you had to make. Philosophically, I completely understand why Freeman felt he had to go get somebody. He could not risk being in the exact same position he was in last year, wanting to run with Buckner, and if he gets hurt, we're dead. So he had to do that to protect the situation. The irony is we're in the exact same situation just with him now, though.
Yeah, no. I was a big supporter of Sam Hartman coming in. I mean, I knew about Hartman from all the way back when he was on that Netflix reality show QB1. So I knew he was a good guy, and I watched a little bit of his game against Clemson, where he had them on the ropes. So I was really excited about him coming in here. And after that gettable game, I'm like, I knew Tyler and him were going to battle it out, and I think we did. If Tyler didn't want to battle, he would have just transferred as soon as Hartman came in. I think they battled it out, and it was apparent that Hartman was the better man. And he says, okay, Hartman's the better man. I've been up and down with my injuries. I gotta take advantage of an opportunity where I have one. So that's why I feel like he went to Alabama. And I think the only thing that changes is that now the competition between Angeli and Mitchie starts now. It doesn't start it's not happening next fall. It's starting right now.
Yeah. Well, now wait a second. Now wait, let me ask you this. This is a big deal. How you're going to structure this and like stratify these years. Are they going to be willing to blow a year of Minchie, or would they prefer he plays under 4 games next year if a backup's needed so he preserves that year of eligibility? Or do you see a dynamic where he wins the job or plays if Hartman gets hurt? How do they want to do that with his eligibility with that year?
I think if Hartman stays healthy, they want to keep him on the bench, but they're going to be constantly pitting them against each other at practice.
Yeah.
But if Hartman's having injury issues, then they have to kind of rip that Band-Aid off, and they're probably going to end up having to burn that redshirt year.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking too. And then how do you see this?
Especially with the game that we're going to play.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I was thinking that
between
too.
Ohio State and then getting our get back against USC. That's my high priority.
So then let's talk about this. Move it forward another year. Then you have another interesting dynamic. You're going to theoretically have Angeli versus year 2 Minchie, Carr coming in off the street. What do you make of that? How would you like that battle to go? What do you think's best for the program long term?
I think best for the long term, I think whoever wins between Angeli and Minchie is probably going to start. I think they're not going to want to throw CJ Carr into the fire immediately, because you don't want to wreck the kid's confidence. I mean, I've seen his tape, and I've been really impressive. But then I also watched, Arch Manning's tape, and he's struggling down there in Texas. I don't want to sit up there and put all the weight on the world on kid right away if I don't have to. But if he comes into camp and he's clearly the better dude, hey, let the better dude win.
Yeah, then if he's
If he
undeniable,
the best out of those three,
yeah.
Hey, you're ready for
Exactly. And I think long term, that's your best case scenario, is that you actually have a freshman that you can play right away and feel good about it and then develop from there. But I think maybe, like, if you gave me odds on these, I think one of the most likely scenarios may be Minchie maybe starts that year, his second year, and then that next year you have an ultimate battle of Minchie with more experience, but then Carr coming in with a year of learned in college and all that. That could heat up, and that'd be interesting. The problem is I might be stroked out way before then.
Yeah, well, being a Notre Dame fan, it's not for the faint of heart.
It isn't, man. Nothing's easy and nothing's simple. It's like everything has extra drama. Notre Dame quarterback leaving, that's already big news. And then going to Alabama, already big news. Having Tommy there, bigger news. Like, everything just weaves together and makes everything bigger. It's amazing.
Yeah. I was looking last night. Uncle Lou had a hilarious rant talking about the whole Buckner Reese Alabama situation.
Oh, yeah.
It's just kind of like,
he loves to just come, but he'll drop in every once in a while just to say one thing he knows is going to make me mad, and then he'll leave. He just wants to get me all mad, and then he'll leave. It's hilarious. Oh, man.
Yeah, but I'm very optimistic about coming into the season.
Good.
Marcus is the right name.
Oh, you're telling me that
change is uncomfortable.
You're telling me that everything's not burned into the ground, and Marcus isn't terrible at what he does, and he has no concept of what it means to build a team, and Marcus doesn't understand how you're supposed to treat the Notre Dame players, and nobody wants to play with them because they know that he got the job and didn't deserve it. This is all the stuff I've been hearing for the last 12 hours, and I'm sick of it.
I know I've been watching the Braves with you, and I do not know where any of this is coming on. I see it up close, being in the area. I'm in South Bend every other day. Like, I was just going to the mall the other day. Trust me. But the community loves him. His players love him. But this is year 2. Let things develop. Let things cook. Give this guy a chance. Last year was a weird year. Everybody's going crazy about the 2 goofy losses. Hey, every major Power 5 team has goofy losses somewhere along the line. I mean, I did see them going hard at Michigan against, for losing to Appalachian State. I mean, USC, our hated rivals. Yeah.
Well, and wait, here's the other thing.
They go to the Cotton Bowl and get smacked in the mouth by Tulane.
Here's the other thing that gets missed in this. It is irresponsible to speak of last year and not start it with it's hard to win when your starter's down by first half week 2. You were already screwed and in a bad spot no matter what. So a lot of that's hard to judge anyways. So I don't know, man. Anything else on your mind here? I want people to chill out a little bit. It isn't all falling apart.
Yeah. Guys, we're going to be fine. We have a whole summer to bring in. We have all this talent that's coming in from the guys that didn't come here from the spring. Let this cook. Let this develop. Depending on how things shake out next year, we might look back at this and have a good laugh. So, Irish fans, especially in the Michigan area, guys, we got this. Just let's let Marcus do his job.
Yep. It's some of this uncomfortable and the uncertainty of what these things signify, all of that. Some of that is natural when you're trying to do this. You're still trying to transition from one phase of one regime to a new one. Some of this is going to shake out this way. And if it doesn't, it might be a red flag. Like, I didn't want everything to be the same and status quo. That's why Marcus is here. So, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, I would prefer to have Diggs on the team rather than not. But because he left doesn't mean that we go all the way to the other extreme. That's my point. And I appreciate your call today. Keep calming people down in your area, okay? Thank you.
I do what I can, John. I got to get off here. So,
all right. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Go Irish.
Have a good weekend. You take care.
Yeah, you too.
Is anybody open to a call-in show tomorrow night, late night? Seriously, a late night Saturday call-in show. Maybe we have people yell at Pat on the air. We could do that. There's a lot going on. I'm open to doing a late night Saturday night show. Saturday night special, baby. We could do it. We could do it. 219, what's going on today? Welcome.
John, what's going on? Long-time listener and first-time caller.
I appreciate it. 219. So what is that? That's like northern Indiana right across the border? What's 219's Indiana, right? Right across the border? Am I wrong?
Yeah, Northwest Indiana. So I'm in Valparaiso.
Gotcha. I recognize that number. I thought I had that right. What's on your mind with all this stuff? I really want to know what you think of Buckner leaving and that decision. And then with all the guys leaving Notre Dame, what does it tell you about Marcus's operation? Any thoughts?
Yeah, so it's interesting. You know, I've been I saw my first game when I was 4 in '88, which, you know, great year to see your first game. Grandparents were season ticket holders back to the 50s. So, you know, the prototypical Subway alum that just, you know, bled blue and gold from, you know, birth, basically. You know, the interesting thing is people don't realize, I mean, this would have happened back in the Holtz days if the portal existed. I mean, Dorsey Levens was a recruit. He left. You know, you can count back then how loaded the backfield was in those years. So, you know, I don't think the sky's fallen. You know, Buckner had his shot. Would it have been nice if he could have stayed around till next year? Yeah. But, you know, now it's up to the younger guys to develop under Hartman. And,
Yeah.
you know, hopefully he can stay healthy and they can win.
I did
12 games.
I put out a short, the YouTube shorts that have to be under a minute and they have their own little section on YouTube. I put one out yesterday. And the point of it was what you just said, where I said, who am I to get everything I want? Who are we as Notre Dame fans to get it all when I want Hartman as the number 1 and I want Buckner, but only as the number 2 and then maybe the number 1 the year after that? Who am I to get all of those luxuries and the comforts? Like, I don't know if I'm entitled to get that or not. In the modern era, that's not how it goes. I don't know if it's fair for me to think I should get that.
I totally agree. And like you said, the culture and like the change of regime is a thing. Like you said, these guys, you know, it's a new coach. They were some of these guys were recruited under different, you know, coordinators and a head coach that isn't here. So, you know, there's no loyalty to the Freeman coaching staff, which is fine for them. But, you know, he's wanting to bring his guys in. He knew he needed a veteran in Hartman because he had a loaded roster. And I mean, you can't blame either side. I don't think it's a huge deal. You know, I get more concerned, you know, with, like you said earlier, let's get better at the NIL stuff. You know, let's get better with the details of, you know, the green jersey rollout so we can actually have a home field advantage for Ohio State. Like, that's the details I wish they would work on. You know, so I'm just fingers crossed that, you know, it can get to that point. You know, Notre Dame always pitches 40 for 40. I'd love to see them, you know, just make a point and set the tone. You know, tell every recruit, you know, we're gonna put $100,000 in an annuity, and, you know, if you stay 4 years, you graduate. You know, that money's yours. You know, what's it going to cost you? $2.5 million a year. You know, every recruiting cycle to do it, and I mean, they've got the funds, but, you know, do it in a way that's not pay for play, and it actually teaches these kids, you know, about, you know, investments and setting up for the long term.
Man, I really like that.
That's
a really good way to structure it. And I like that. I like that a lot. I also like how you're talking about some big picture things. I just feel like change is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It is uncomfortable, but necessary. And one thing I think I've realized the last calendar year is, I knew after Kelly left, this roster had a lot of work to be done. But I think now I'm really starting to see just how much Freeman wants to change and kind of build things differently. And it might be one of those things where it feels kind of rough and you're kind of down before you can really go back up. I just think it's a part of the process. And Freeman's vision of building this roster is vastly different than Kelly's. And it's just new, but it doesn't mean it's better or worse yet. It's a new way to do it. And I'm going to let the guy work because I trust him and I know he's doing everything he can. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, and the only one that hurts me is the Collie one, because I think we could all agree. We see, you know, Maris. I think we've all kind of seen enough of him, you know, running through the A gap and getting, you know, nowhere on the blitz. You know, Collie, it does seem to be more skilled, but, you know, if he thinks he's better off elsewhere, then, you're just going to have to live with that and hope that the culture who stays is, strong enough to withstand, the guys that have left.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you can kind of hope for. So, yeah. John, what do you think about the uniforms? It's been bugging me for years on why we can't get the gold pants right. The blue and the green jerseys. I love the old, the ones we played in 05 with USC. The dark green with the gold.
I like that
the
too.
Holtz gold pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think they're doing with this old yellow, 1970s look that they're rolling out with? It's crazy.
I don't know, but the biggest complaint I had for a lot of years has been fixed. My biggest complaint was the Weiss era helmets literally looked like poop. It literally looked like brown turds with no shine, no gold. They were brown. It literally looked like shit on our heads. And I hated it.
Yeah.
There was no shine. That was my biggest uniform complaint. If we want to get into shade of green or shade of blue, we can. But I hated those dull brown turd helmets. And in a way, it represented that whole era and the whole vibe. It was almost perfect.
Yeah.
It was almost perfect in the
totally
crappiest way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know people think I'm crazy, but I mean, I was watching the video. Deion Sanders is, who knows if he can coach, but man, I mean, he's meeting with Nike. He's got Cordell Stewart. He's redesigning their uniforms. I'd much rather Marcus be a great coach and recruit than have to worry about that stuff. But I do wish, we could get some sort of, new re-envision of the uniform now that Kelly's gone. I do like that he brought back the interlocking ND like Holtz had instead of the white numbers. But
yeah, I didn't like the numbers either. I thought the numbers was overkill. It's too numbery. Number, too numbery. I thought that too.
And
yeah.
The symbol of Notre Dame is the interlocking ND.
Yeah, and then my only complaint with the green for Ohio State, like whatever, pick whatever green you want. I just kind of wanted it to be a surprise so we could get full effect emotionally. That's all I wanted, but that's not how marketing works. You can't sell green jerseys you can't sell green jerseys for $269 if not everybody knows you're selling the green jerseys, right? Or wearing them. I get it. It's all marketing. I get it.
Yeah, and you'll wear them for senior day too. But like you said, warm up in your blues. That stadium would erupt. Night game in South Bend, late September.
Yep.
I mean, it would be.
That's what I wanted.
Would explode
That's what I wanted. And you could tease it. You could do things to tease it to get discussion going and have people building up to it. Like you could drop little hints in Notre Dame social media, like hinting, but not say it. And then everybody's talking. It would build it all. That's what I would do. But that's why I'm emotional little John and not some marketing genius who just wants to print money. I think of it the other way, but what do I know? Anything else you want to hit, my friend? I got a few more calls and I got to hit the road.
No, I'll let the line go. It's true what you said. I grew up, with a couple buddies that played at ND. One was big, receiver All-American. I won't drop names, but if you know where I'm from, you can kind of put them together. But it's true what you said.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I could follow you there.
Our passion growing up as fans is very different than guys that play there.
Yep.
You hope every player that's there bleeds, how we do.
It's a different relationship. It's just a different relationship on a very deep level.
When you see guys transfer, knowing that it's like they don't have our passion. We would all love to play there.
Yep.
So you just got to wish them well and, hope for a great season. And I'm excited. I think 11-1 is 12, and I mean, who knows? It's all on Hartman if he can play.
Baby, we're cooking now. Look at you. We're cooking on a Friday. Oh, man. Thanks for the call, my friend. Save the number. Give me a call again. We might end up doing a Saturday night special tomorrow night. We'll see. But save the number and give me a call.
All right. Thanks, John. Go Irish.
Have a good one. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Man, I like that people like calling all the time. 707, welcome to the program.
Thank you, John. I did it again. I'm sorry to call so late. My sleeping patterns are messed up. This whole week has been crazy. I just did it again. I woke up at 9 and I was like, I'll give a call and see if he's still on.
Hey, there's a lot to discuss, so we're kind of going overboard with the time here. What do you make of the Buckner move for Notre Dame and for him? That's the first thing. What do you make of it?
Well, you're jumping right into it with me, huh?
Oh, I'm jumping right into it. Like, I'm in go mode, and I want to know what you all think. What do you make of that move? Good move for him? Risky move for him? Exposes Freeman? Like, where do we fall here?
Well, it's a blow toss, and it's understandable from his vantage point. But the first thing I want to make sure I'm hearing when I called you, the first thing I heard was you guys talking about Diggs being gone.
Yep, gone.
He went to the portal?
Yep, portaling. Last night, news came out.
These are like my 3 favorite players.
He's gone. Yep. So I don't know the story. I don't know if it was carries. I don't know if there's an issue behind the scenes. I don't know what it is, but it came out right before the draft started last night. Everybody was reacting to the Buckner news. Yeah. And then it comes, here's the announcement. Diggs is going to the portal. So then
we're becoming a very lean team now. We're not deep anymore. These are 3 huge players.
See, that's what people have been debating all day. People have been saying, all right, you got a quarterback who wasn't going to start. And then you got a linebacker who was a backup who didn't get on the field a lot last year in Collie, who you could argue should have. And then you got a wide receiver who's been around but struggled last year. So we've been debating all day whether this is a big hit or not.
Wait, you said Diggs, right? Diggs is a running back, right?
Yeah, Diggs is gone, but I mean Styles too. I'm looking at all the guys that have left this last week, right? So I'm kind of going through the positions. And people, I don't know if it's a huge hit or not. I like what we have in the running back room. Jeremiah Love's going to be a baller. JD Price, feed estimate. It's not the end of the world, but I would have loved to have him.
Yeah, Jabril Payne is great. I mean, he's looking really good.
So but wait,
I'm even willing.
Maybe he
just
just
to have
didn't
him supplant Jadarian Price. I mean, we don't know. He had one good showing, and he looked great. In the little time we saw him. But I'm all about Payne too. I love him. But
yeah,
Diggs was so consistent. I mean, I can't believe he's gone.
Some people are suggesting
these are really big hits to Notre Dame, and they're not just losing. Like, these are going to be scarfed up just the same way. I was listening to Priester and O'Malley, and I know you don't like to talk about other shows, but those guys are clueless. I mean, I used to like Priester when I used to be a subscriber where they'd mail mail it to your
front porch. Yeah, I remember those days. Yep.
Yeah, but he's gotten, ever since the social media came out, the more you hear of their opinions, I liked it when he just reported on the game of what happened because he was really good at that.
Gotcha.
But
yeah.
Their opinions are just horrendous. I mean, O'Malley is like the dumbest guy I've ever heard. But Priester has really disappointed me. Anyway,
how do you really feel? How do you really feel about it, though?
But yeah, and listening to them, they were all just about Buckner's never going to go to Reeves. Can you believe it? He tried to recruit Hartman while Buckner was there.
Hey, it's wild.
And it's like, guess what?
Hey, do you think Buckner has a real chance to start at Alabama? And if so, how's that going to go for them? Him and old Tommy Boy. How would that go?
I think he's got a better chance at competition for the starting job than he did with Hartman because Hartman just showed out.
Yeah.
Just too strong.
Yeah.
And so, they got like Milrow and some other guy that they're contemplating. And here's Buckner making a smart move because he already knows Reese's playbook, so it'll be easier for him to come in there and adjust.
Yeah, man.
I think
I don't know. This is just, I struggle because I don't want guys to leave. I think some of it's part of the process. But every time we get a few guys leave, then I get a million messages saying Freeman's lost control of the program and we're a rudderless ship and it's going down. I can't go to that extreme, man. When you have regimes,
I can't either.
When you have regimes overlapping like this, some guys are going to leave. It's not going to work out for every guy, especially when a lot of the coaches that love those guys are no longer here. Some of this is natural.
That's not true at all. Freeman hasn't lost control of anything. He's still going to be who he is, and that's what attracts people, and that's what people want to play for him because of who he is. And I think we just have to accept the thing that if NCAA doesn't come down and rein in this portal, you transfer, you got to sit out a year. They got to go, at least they got to go back to that, because this is going to be a very much of a daily happening. Well, and it's exciting because you see all these changes, but boy, did Notre Dame get hurt by it all. I'm really bummed that Collie is gone, my favorite on defense, and then Buckner, who I'm okay with him sitting back for a year because of Hartman's great showing. I mean, 13 of 16, 190 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sorry, Tyler, but you just. And it could be that Buckner already checked out. We don't know.
You know what? Hey, I'm glad you brought that up. That's what I was going to say. The more I think about this and the more I talk to people, a lot of people are saying, what if some of this was already stirring up leading up to blue and gold? And maybe that's a reason Buckner seemed kind of like half not there, or like what it was a little rough because his mind's all over the place. He's half checked in, half checked out. I don't know. I just want Buckner to be fulfilled and have a chance to play, which he's never really had for a bunch of reasons. But I don't think anybody's at fault here. I think Freeman's trying to do the best he can to win as many games. Buckner just wants to play. I don't think anybody's at fault here. It just doesn't always work out for everybody the way we want.
Right. And I think it's always going to get at least like this every year if the NCAA doesn't try and, corral some of this, this gangster kind of game that it's turned into, It's like
pony up,
pretty
man.
soon it'll be like the NBA where all these kids are going to say, let's all go to this school and win a championship,
I don't know, man. It's just a little wild. And now your chief concern is just keeping Hartman alive next year. Because if he goes down, now we're in a real bad spot. And then worry about 24 in that competition later. But we got to get through that guy in one piece. That's my chief priority.
Yeah, and I'm not averse to bringing in another quarterback if he's a junior, and he'll have a next year, to show until Minchie and Carr come around, because I think that's the way you have to look at it now, is that the nest is gonna be empty in terms of experience again. We're gonna run into this again.
Yeah.
So even if you draft the best quarterback, or not draft, but recruit the best quarterback of 26, let's say, it doesn't leave you with anything for next year. So we need something for 24.
But man, it just seems so far away. Like 20, we're talking about 26, dude. I might not even make it through next week on this show if this stuff keeps up. 26? I'm worried about making it 26 more minutes without something dumb happening and me blowing my stack.
I know. All we need to do now is have Benjamin Morrison transfer.
All right. Nope. Come on, man. You're pushing it too far on a Friday. It's not even noon and you're driving me to drink. Don't do it to me. My baseball team's lost 8 games in a row. I got all our guys leaving. You're just trying to get me worked up, man. All my sports are conspiring against me. The walls are caving in. Oh, God. Anything else, my friend?
No, I'm good. I appreciate you taking my call.
No problem.
I tried to get in, and like I said, my sleeping was just crazy. So I'm glad you took me.
Hey, no problem at all. I always like talking to you. Have a good weekend, man. Relax. We'll be all right.
Okay, John. Take care.
Have a good one.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. He always adds that in, and I appreciate it. I really do. 618, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, John?
I'm wound a little tight. I am wound a little tight. Yeah. That is how I'm doing. I am sorry, but that is my report. I'm wound a little tight.
Hey, well, me staying in the St. Louis area now, man, John. Once Love signed, I was like, man, that's going to take carries away from Diggs. And next year, man, it's going to. I'm here to say it right now, man. Jeremiah Love is the most talented back that they got
at Notre Dame.
I've seen multiple people say that. I've seen multiple people say, just wait till he gets there, and it might be undeniable that he's going to have to get snaps.
And I even love Estime, but man, he's a true talent, man. To me, he was I don't know how they missed on him not being a 5-star, but I've seen a few of his games, man. He's really a 5-star, man. I don't know what they do with Notre Dame commits, but he's truly a 5-star.
Yeah, that's a whole science there. Everybody that Notre Dame's interested in or gets a commit from instantly drops. Like, I don't understand the scientific method behind that either. What do you think of Buckner, man? Do you think it's a good move for him? Do you think he's going to start down there? What do you think?
I think he, man. What I seen last week with Alabama quarterback.
Yeah,
he'll start. He should start. I mean, it was a good move for him. He goes somewhere where he's familiar with. He was not going to start at Notre Dame. I don't even think he would have started in 2024. So,
interesting. But the only problem with that is we're screwed if Hartman gets hurt now. That's the issue.
I'm not even worried about if Hartman get hurt, man.
Who are you going to then? Who are you going to that you're not nervous about after that?
I think Minchie I think Minchie could do a good enough job, man. If people is really sleeping on the kid,
man, that makes me nervous. Just because he's so young, that makes me nervous, him being that young.
I mean, look, you'd rather have him play early than try to make him play late. And I think that we're gonna be okay, John. We're gonna be okay.
Good. And then, all right. Well, then what do you see happening the next year then when you have that battle between a year 2 Minchie and then Carr and Angeli? How do you want that battle to go for quarterback the next year?
It just all depends on who get more playing time out of Angeli and Minchie, man. If Angeli get more playing time, then he'll start. Probably, and if it just depends on who get more playing time out of them.
Gotcha. All right. Let me ask you this question next. What do you make of these guys leaving Notre Dame? Is it a red flag? Is it just a part of the growing pain process of a new regime? Are they getting replaced by better guys younger than them? Is the whole world on fire and we suck? What's the answer?
I don't think it's a bad thing. It's someone that Notre Dame has that they're starting to become more. That we're in a place where we're more talented now. So we're getting more talented kids in now. So it shows you, like a Buckner could go to Alabama and start. Who would have thought that Buckner last year could even compete at Alabama this year?
Yeah. It's wild. It's just wild for me to wrap my mind around, man. It's things change fast. Now we got ND in the SEC, man. We're taking over. Alabama, LSU, we're everywhere, baby.
Yeah, who would have thought that Reese would be at Alabama? And I think
it's just wild.
Honest,
isn't it?
I think Alabama running back situation ain't that great either. I think that Diggs wound up at Alabama.
Man, I don't know. There's a lot of movement and a lot going on and a lot more you got to worry about than you ever did before. The no sit out rule, guys teasing your guys with NIL. Like, it's a wild world out there. Being a college coach has never been harder than it is right now. There are so many more things you got to worry about now than ever before from every angle. And a lot of them are beyond your control. It is a wild job right now. It's tough.
John, because of the transfer portal, you have to get high school quarterbacks that's college ready now. Not high school quarterbacks that's going to come in and sit behind a junior.
It's a good point.
A junior that they probably know that they're better than, or a senior that they probably know that they're better than. Then you got to have them. That's the only way that Notre Dame is going. You don't have to go into the portal every year. You can get these kids ready now. If they can be ready now, the day that they step on Notre Dame campus, we don't have to worry about going into the portal.
Yeah, nope, you're right. It's a good point. And guys aren't going to wait around anymore. And it's probably more important than ever to find a guy that can play right away, so you don't risk being in this dynamic. That makes perfect sense. The issue is it's hard to find guys that good to come to Notre Dame that you feel confident could play early and not die out there as young guys. That's the issue.
And then I like the receiver that just committed to Notre Dame. I went to see some of his highlights. I said, man, this kid is, man, Notre Dame is looking more and more like an SEC team with SEC speed, SEC caliber players.
I like the sounds of that, buddy. I like the way that sounds. Talk to me, baby.
They're going to be faster. They're going to be faster than USC. They're going to be faster than they're going to be faster than Ohio State. They're going to be faster than Clemson when they play them. You know, I'm you know, we're not losing as many kids as we really think. You know, who could have known that Diggs was like, oh man, you know, he was ready to transfer after his freshman year. I mean, people talking about, oh, Diggs leaving. He was ready to transfer last year.
Yeah.
The one that I thought, you know, that was Notre Dame through and through was Buckner, but
yeah,
I understood, like I told you last week, I understand that if they went to him and say, hey, I got two studs in Minchie and Carr, I don't think you can beat neither one of them out next year.
Yeah.
So the best thing for you to do is hop in the portal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I want to see him play under Tommy down there. It would be the most interesting experiment. Anything else, my friend? I want to get a couple people on and wrap it up here. We're already at 2.5 hours and counting. Let's go, baby.
That was it, man. I just think Diggs. I think Diggs looked at the situation. What everybody else looked at. Hey, Love is coming in. Love is the most talented back that's there. Love will take a lot of carries from it. Trust me. One of the two guys, either Price or the other guy that was in the spring game, one of them two is going to transfer next year because of Love.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, one of them. I don't know, man. This is all wild. I'm just hoping for no more drama the rest of the summer. Can we do that? No more negative Notre Dame drama rest of the summer. Cool things down, damn it.
Remember, you heard it from me first. Love is going to be the one that takes Diggs' carry.
There we go. I got that marked down. So when he gets to campus, I'm going to hold you to it. Have a good weekend. Call me next week, man.
All right.
Take care. Oh, man. All right. Couple more calls, and then we're going on 3 hours here. This is getting out of hand. Cheap Brody, $2 holler. Devastating optics for ND if TB and TR ball out. Kind of. Yes and no. Follow me here. Even if they balled out at Alabama, I could also say they got 5-star talent all over the place. They should look better there than at Notre Dame. And like, that's Notre Dame's fault. Sure, the previous regime had a lot to do with it. And then now, obviously, we have no 5 stars. Alabama has 9 in the last class. You should probably look better there because everything around you is better. So that's not necessarily apples to apples. Because the talent is vastly different. So that's one way to look at it. 574-937. You're going to be the last two. I got a couple chats I wanted to mention. Yeah, this is funny. Katie put, what if Buckner transfers back after next season? We're just coming and going 1 year to the next. Why not? Oh, my God. That's really funny. This is dangerous. John needs to wear a heart monitor and have it displayed on the screen so we can keep an eye on him. I mean, that'd be entertaining. There's got to be some Fitbit thing or something you have that'll do that and measure it. Like they did on The Office. In The Office when they had, what's his name? What the heck is going on here? My phone's messing up. On The Office when Stanley had the stress monitor that he was wearing, and every time Michael went by, beep, 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 and they realized that Michael was stressing everybody out. Oh, my God. 574. Give me some more. 937 next, and that's going to be it. What's going on, 574?
Hello?
Hello. I got you. You there?
You hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. How's it going, man? Golden Playbook.
What's
I
going on?
missed the last week, but back.
What's going on, man? What do you make of all this? There's just a lot going on. What do you think of Buckner here? You think it's a good move for him? What does it do to us?
Honestly, I think a lot of people are kind of overreacting about the whole situation. Obviously, it was clear that Sam Hartman came to Notre Dame to, start. Obviously, I kind of seen it coming. It's kind of weird though that he decided to go to Alabama because what happened last year. Like, kind of weird to see. I don't know if he's going to play there. That'd be kind of.
Yeah, I think it's just him
I don't
and
know,
I
that's
think
very
it's him and
interesting.
Tommy, man. It's him and Tommy. Those guys are buddies, and they obviously get along and all that. If he starts for Alabama, I just didn't realize he was at that level. And I also didn't realize Alabama was at that level to need that and that they don't have anybody more ready. I'm just a little surprised by the whole
Right.
thing.
Yes. And like you said, that would be so awesome to see. Now, as opposed to like Logan Diggs, I've seen that he transferred
Yep.
as well. And he's either going to go to Alabama or LSU. And I honestly think that he'll probably go to LSU.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. That makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. Practical, family, like there's a lot of tie-ins there, relationships already built, obviously. Whatever, it's going to happen. But Notre Dame's got a deep running back room. And if this gives some younger guys a chance to emerge even earlier, like Love or Price or Payne or whatever, I'm totally fine with that. Of all my worries about Notre Dame football, the running back room is not even registering to me on the top of the list. Okay. I got a lot of other worries bigger than that one.
Yeah. I mean, I have my concerns a little bit, like you said, about the whole, Sam Hartman. Hopefully he stays healthy, and he gets through the season and we go at least 11-1 or 12-0. That would be, because I think he is talented enough to help us win. And
I
a lot
would
of people are
hope
worrying
so.
that.
Yeah, I certainly think so, and I hope so.
Yeah, and who is so Angeli is the second stringer, right?
So you would have
that's what my
Angeli.
worries.
You would have Angeli, and my question is, even if I think Minchie has a higher developmental ceiling ultimately, I don't know if they would want to burn a redshirt year on him next year if something happened to Hartman and have to burn a year of him for him to be the backup. I also don't know if they feel he's ready to be the backup. But I also haven't seen enough out of Angeli. I feel comfortable he could be the backup. So my answer to this all is keep Hartman healthy so I don't have to worry about this damn problem.
Yes, because if something happens to Hartman, oh man, it's gonna be.
It's last
I
year
don't
all
wanna
over
say
again.
it.
It's last year all over again. That
Yeah.
week-to-week nightmare, it'd be the same thing. We got to avoid it. You got to bubble wrap that dude. He's not allowed to go surfing in the summer. No skateboarding, no jumping off a diving board, no rollerblade, no nothing. I don't want him doing anything. Protect that man.
Yes, and I think the offensive line will be pretty strong this year.
Should be.
They look pretty good in the blue and gold game.
Should be.
As long as he's getting protection, I think that
Yeah.
he's gonna, be great.
Yeah, I agree. It just gets interesting the year after that. You're going to have to make some big decisions. And I think it's very important that the year after that, one of those younger guys emerges and just claims the job and they're undeniable. Whether it be Minchie, whether it be Carr as a youngster that's undeniable, you need somebody to march right in there and hitch the wagon to. That's your guy, and you all grow with them and support him and build around him. That's Notre Dame's path. I'm getting sick of doing the patchwork transfer guy. I would like us to build our own guy somewhere down the line. Know we have them year after year, build with them and love them and do all that. That's what I want. I just need to know who it's going to be.
Right. And I don't want to say that. I don't, because like I'm a hardcore like fan of the team, support them unconditionally, and
Yep.
I don't really want to say that they're going to have a bad season, but if it turns out that Sam Hartman gets hurt, well, that's just the way it's going to be, I think, because I just don't think Stephen Jelly's experienced enough. Like,
I agree.
I just don't feel comfortable.
And you know what? You know what I'm going to
playing.
say about Angeli? I'm going to admit this. Angeli gets lost in the mix because Buckner, we have all this Notre Dame history with that all the fan base has with Buckner. Carr is the shiny new toy. Minchie was the nice steal at the end. People like his upside. And then Angeli just kind of gets in the mix there where I don't know where he falls. And I don't want to sell Angeli short. He could be that guy, but I haven't seen or heard enough smoke to give me that thought yet. And so that might be my problem or ignorance of not knowing his development, but I just haven't seen enough. Have you?
No, I haven't really seen enough from him. He didn't really get any reps. I think he only played one time last year.
You know what? This is a good point. Fifth Wheel wrote a message and it says fans need to get used to only having 3 scholarship quarterbacks that can play. The portal is making building that depth almost impossible. Totally agree. Totally agree. There's a lot of that with backup quarterbacks who don't win their starting jobs, looking to go somewhere to win a starting job. Very good point.
Yeah. And not to say that he can't develop to be a great quarterback, because I'm sure he can, probably just take a few years.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited for the season. As long as, Sam Hartman, stays healthy. And I think everybody's just kind of overreacting to the situation, think that we're in trouble. But no, I think people need to let, Freeman do his job. And I believe in Freeman that he's going to do his job. He's doing a good job, I think, recruiting, talent on the way. There's more talent on the way. So I'm not really worried. I believe in Freeman. And
Yep, I do too. So I'm going to let the guy work. And we'll see where we're at in a couple of years. But his work ethic is unmatched and 1,000 times what the previous guys was. And that's got to pay off at some point. I appreciate the call, my friend. I want you to have a good weekend and then give me the call next week. We'll see what other news breaks.
Yeah, hopefully no more transfers.
Yeah, well, that portal closes, the 30th, I think. So we're closing up the window here. So at least we won't have that issue. Have a good weekend, my friend.
Right.
Give me a call next week.
All righty. Yep. Go Irish.
Go Irish. Thanks for the call. Katie says, Katie, I don't know where the heck you came from. I don't remember seeing that name a lot. And then this week, you've been here every day popping in with good thoughts. I really appreciate it. I don't really care about burning Minchie's red shirt. If he's the best available quarterback, you put him out there. Absolutely. I think that discussion of not doing it only comes in if it's not obvious that he's head and shoulders the guy, but if it's kind of close, 50-50, then I could see them wanting to preserve it. But if he's obviously the best option, you have no choice. And I agree with that. 937, last caller of the day. What's going on?
Hey, John. Thanks for getting to me here.
Oh, no problem. It's been a busy day. I like it. It's just hard to get through the calls and be fair. And then more people keep calling and hanging up and calling back, whatever. But here we are.
All right. I got a lot of thoughts here about trying to make it real fast.
Okay.
And the first thing that I want to say, we gotta decipher here between, Colley, Styles, and Diggs, and the fact that they left because of an attrition of the amount of talent, the abundance of talent that we have. Okay. Buckner leaving was more of, I believe, Marcus Freeman putting on his GM hat last fall and saying, I want something other than Buckner. Okay. That's more of him putting on his GM hat and saying, the 2 guys that I have on my team, I don't want them. Now, and we're going to, and I honestly, as things have played out, I think that might have been why Tommy Rees left. I think Tommy Rees might have felt like his feet were getting stepped on in his area of the offense, and said, because look, he leaves, and he might have told Buckner, "Hey, I'm going somewhere else. If you don't get the spot, give me a call."
Yeah.
And because I've heard some other things, Tyree seems to have like a little bit of like a love affair with like, he thinks that Buckner is just the guy. And when you look at it, Tyler Buckner only played in 2 full games. He only played 2 full games. And one of them was a really solid game, And so anyway, but the way I look at it, and I kind of want to defend the Tyler Buckner pro people, and like, look, I don't think anybody out there is really saying that Tyler Buckner this year is better than Sam Hartman. I think those people who wanted Tyler Buckner look at this almost like a trade. Let's think of it as a trade. Marcus Freeman was the GM, and he said, I'm going to trade Tyler Buckner, who has a 3-year contract. I'm going to trade that for a one and done proven commodity. Okay. And when you look at it that way, I don't know if I like it. Okay. We're going to have to see how this plays out, but I don't know if I like that, to say I'm going to trade away a guy who just had 335 yards and 5 touchdowns in a bowl game, was a bowl MVP. I'm going to trade away his next 3 years for a one and done, because then you're putting I look at that as, is that really the smart thing to do for your program? And also, is that what you got to do to end, I think you're continuing the cycle of having a scuffed quarterback room.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, isn't that why the importance is on one of these younger guys with a higher upside to be the man that you can hitch your wagon to and get out of that cycle?
But
one of these young guys has to be it. One of them's got to be it sometime.
You keep saying that.
One of them has to be it one of these times.
You had a guy with 3 years.
Oh.
You had a young guy with 3 years of eligibility. And I'm just saying, I think Marcus Freeman is the guy who said, I decide what's going to go on, and I don't want to have what happened last year happen again. And so he traded away the young guy that you were supposed to hitch your wagon to and say, let's go with Tyler Buckner. Let's bring in a guy for a year to ensure that maybe we do win 9, 10, 11 games next year. And that's all I'm saying, because look, Tyler Buckner followed Tommy Rees, and I hate to break it to everybody, he's going to be the starter. If he's healthy, he's going to be the starter.
That's wild to me. That is so wild to me.
It seems wild, but look, actually, Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach of all time. And look, he picked up, to me, it makes all sense on why he would want him. It's like, look, the guy's only played 2 full games, one against Ohio State and one against South Carolina. One happened to be in college football playoffs, so first start ever, at their plays. You can't be too harsh on a guy there, and then he had a good game in the bowl. And his only downfall is interceptions, which is decision making. So do you think do you think a really good college football coach can say, I can fix decision making? So, and then I'm going to get him for 3 years. So on their end, to me, that's like way better than anything else they got. So that I'm going to say they're going to do what I think we should have done, but we'll see how it plays out. Maybe Steve Angeli or CJ Carr is the next golden boy. Who knows?
Yeah.
Minchie, maybe. I don't know.
But the only way to get out of this loop, though, with these quarterbacks is to home grow a guy, hitch your wagon to him, and that's what your deal is for a few years, and then you have that stability. And we just have not had that. We have not had that. And it could work, but it's still instability.
Tyler Buckner.
It's still instability.
I think Marcus Freeman had a little bit of a gut reaction to Tyler Buckner getting hurt. And which was, I do not want to go through what I just went through again.
Yep, 100%. I agree with you, because it's his first year. He wanted to make a great first impression. Got screwed by that all year. It brought the vibe down. And he was going, no matter what, I cannot allow ourselves to be exposed like that again. That's the impetus, and I understand why.
And look, this is and I just want to say there's a difference between the three main steps I think of, like Marcus Freeman in the program in general. There's the recruiting side, there's the coaching side, and then there's like the GM side, which is like how you handle your portal. Okay, and like, look, Tyler Buchner is the only real one where I think we as an organization made a decision to really let him go. Same thing with Pine, you could say too, but I don't think anybody's losing any sleep over Pine leaving. And but the other guys are leaving because you have done such a good job of recruiting that they are not necessary. So yeah. I mean, Diggs leaving. I think Diggs wants to make the NFL, and so he's like, hey, I got to get 20 carries a game, and Estime is going to take 15 carries a game. If so especially if they pass more. Yeah. If they're going to have a little bit more of a passing offense this year, yeah, you may only get 10. You may only get 10 carries a game, and if you want to go play in the NFL, that's just not. And this is the year for Diggs to make that happen, because if he has a year where he gets 20 carries a game, he averages 4.5, 5 yards a carry, he'll leave early and he'll go. Okay, and honestly, we got to keep recruiting the running back room, because Estime is now going to be the guy, and don't be surprised if he leaves early, because he has the yards per average down already. So if he gets 20 to 24 carries a game, he's going to the NFL. He's not sticking around. So, but this is a really good problem. I think you got a caller in your last one say like, hey, we're kind of getting closer to like what Ohio State. I'm in Ohio, so I kind of look at Ohio State. What Ohio State's getting to. Like Ohio State, they lost Quinn Ewers, they lost Joe Burrow, because hey, those guys just weren't going to get on the field. And we're starting to get to that point with some of our positions. It's nicer when it's a quarterback position, and that's how it's functioning, because that's the most important position on the field. But it's nice that we're finally getting to it. I think Ohio State just lost a wide receiver. That's what we want to be, right? We want to have so much talent coming in through recruiting that some of these guys leave because, look, they want to go be a starter, and we have so much talent that they are just not the number one dog.
And but that's where
they were a 4-star.
But that's nobody wants to hear that when I say it could be a good problem to have, but nobody wants to be open to that. It's just all negative, whatever.
I think some of the problem is that I didn't go to Notre Dame. I've just grown up a Notre Dame fan. I didn't go to Notre Dame, but I think a lot of people, who talk Notre Dame, I think they want people to go to Notre Dame because they love Notre Dame as like a university.
Yeah.
And that's not how you create great football teams. Just hate to break that to you, because some of my friends went to Ohio State, and I do remember being on campus when Cardale Jones tweeted out, "Hey, I didn't come to Ohio State to play school. I came to Ohio State to play football." Like, look, if we had a Notre Dame player, say they didn't come to Notre Dame to play school, like, I mean,
different world.
Head, right. But like, look, we just have to understand that as we get higher talent on the team, a lot of these guys are football first, and so they're going to leave, and that's just
that makes sense.
But that makes sense. That's how you have great teams.
Yeah, that does make sense. I don't know, man. I think it's unfortunate you're losing some guys you'd like to keep, but I don't think it's necessarily a negative. I think it's a part of the process, and everybody needs to relax and just see how it goes. Look at me telling people to relax.
And I
Go
agree.
figure. That makes sense.
And I agree with you. I don't think this is a reflection of like Marcus Freeman as a coach.
Me neither.
Okay?
It might actually be the ultimate compliment, but you don't know it yet. I genuinely mean that. It might actually be a really good thing. You just don't know it yet because you don't see everything yet.
Right. We just had like the Styles thing. We just had a freshman catch 11 catches in the blue and gold game. Like we got somebody there who's doing way better than Styles has been doing. So, it's just an attrition of having a lot of talent.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting, and we're not going to get the answers right away. Some of this is a process, and in a lot of ways, year two is year one almost in a lot of ways for Freeman, especially if you can actually have your quarterback be alive all year and have like a regular season, see what it's like, and then we go from there. I don't know, man. I want a quiet summer. I want a good recruiting summer. Everything else, I need to be quiet, and then we get ready in August and get this thing going. No drama, no more, anything bad. Anything else, my friend?
No, I hope that nobody gets hurt. We get to play our whole season with all of our key pieces. And I did have one last thing. I did want to say, I have a lot of hope for our offensive line, which I know it doesn't get talked about, too much here. And it is kind of shocking that Harry Heastan left when he has possible 2 first-round draft picks on the line. So I'm almost happy the guy left because he must have been checked out too. Because in last year, getting your offensive line,
I heard Freeman told him you're going to have to actually go recruit more, and like it's not an option and it's not a suggestion. You actually have to go do it because I can't let you skate and everything on your old name and reputation. And then I make these other guys do it. And he said, I need you to get out there on the grind. And it was like, all right, I just don't need that. You know what I mean? If that happened, good for Freeman. If that's what happened, good for Freeman.
Right. Well, and I just look at it like, look, this could have been one of the best offensive lines that Harry Heastan had the opportunity to coach, and he walked away. And all I'm saying is that I know a lot of coaches, and like when you have a chance to coach elite, you don't always get that opportunity, and people love to coach that. And so I look at it like I'm actually very happy that we got who we got, to replace them, and he had a great running back. Like I don't know, I'm happy the guy walked away because I don't think he was all in, and so I feel better about that situation.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man. There's a lot to cover. It's never boring in Notre Dame land. Thank you for the call, and thank you for your patience on the line, too. I know it took a while today. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one.
Have a good weekend, man. Give me a call back next time. It'll be fun. Thanks, everybody, for calling. We went 3 hours. Like, this is a long grind, but there was a lot to cover. Thanks, everybody, for being here. As always, all the chats, all the callers. I love giving people a voice here. The donations, the chats, even the trolls. Thank you for being here. We may do a late night Saturday night special. Let me think about the timing. Maybe talk to Pat. We'll see what's going on. And maybe we'll set something up for that tomorrow night. But I'll let you know. I'll post on here and I'll post on Twitter. We'll see if it works or not. I don't know. But it seems like a lot of people have a lot to say. So, all right, everybody, have a good Friday. This was a long one, but it felt good. We got a lot off our chests. Thanks for being here.